Hello and welcome to episode 20 of Your Average Critics. Joined today by Joe, Chris, Obi and Ollie. And then I'm back after a 2-week absence. So yeah, there's a lot of Glenn bashing last week. But I want to say thanks to Obi for taking the reins.
Obi for host.
I agree.
Well, it's a democracy, so if you vote me out, then as long as I'm still on.
Alright, we'll vote right now. Show our hands.
Well, fine by me. So it's been a couple of weeks since I've actually seen you. We've got a full house today as well.
Yeah,
so how's the
Everyone
last fortnight been?
Not too bad.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Working a lot.
Working 9 to 5.
I broke my rib.
You broke your rib?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did hear this because
You
I do
heard it.
listen to the
Yeah,
podcast.
exactly.
So I
There you
heard
go.
this last week.
Yeah. But
You
yeah.
did,
Good save, mate.
You
Good save.
did it when you were lifting or something? No?
No, I done it when I was asleep.
You did it while you were asleep?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that bit.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't hear that bit last week.
Yeah, you said you did it whilst you were working.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
How did you break a rib
when
while
you're
sleeping?
I don't.
You're
I
asleep.
literally
You're definitely
do
knocking
not
one
know.
out. Fell out of bed.
I woke up.
Tweaking.
Yeah. I woke up on Saturday morning and I was in pain.
Maybe someone like sat on you when you were asleep.
Potentially.
Like your brother
Did
came
you
in
get
and did
bundled?
like a body slam.
No.
Like the
I don't know
rock.
what happened.
Okay. Everyone else injury free? Relatively?
Relatively, yeah.
What's up with you, Obes?
And aches and pains all over my body, mate.
Oh, man.
I
Just
wake,
getting out of bed.
yeah,
isn't it?
honestly, I wake up and I'm like, I'm fucked as soon as I get out of my bed. There's been like I got stiff
First swear words for Obi?
Oh shit.
Hey.
That's the second one.
Yeah. I got stiff ankles, stiff knees, you know. So I feel like when I'm like 65, I feel for myself. 'Cause I feel like I literally be able to get out of bed. Hopefully by then you can have like bionic ankles and stuff. So.
Decent,
Should be
decent. Wow. What about you? You went to a live podcast, didn't you?
We did, yeah. Me and Ollie went to 3 Shots of Tequila live podcast in, where was it? Like in Holborn or something like
Holborn, yeah.
Holborn. Yeah, it was-
Holborn?
Holborn. But yeah, no, it was really fun. I think it was really funny. Ollie was like,
I made the diversity
yeah,
card.
Ollie. It was literally about 0.5% white people there. And Ollie was one of those like 4 people there who were white.
Yeah, it was me and the bar staff. I could have just gone behind the bar and just like blended in.
But you got a shout out from the comedian for being white.
Yeah, because he was dissing white people. He was like proper having a go at like parties
party,
that
yeah.
white people have when the lights are on. But if you go to a party where it's like a black people's party, the lights are off, and it's like
Everyone's
you're
doing-
smoking
everyone's
weed
doing
and you
weed.
don't even like say hello to someone. You're just like rolling a blunt.
And then when you go to a white person's party, like the lights are on, everyone's doing cocaine. And like, alright guys, can we do some cocaine? Yeah, alright, can we do some cocaine? But yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. They just talk about like really, really random stuff, mostly like sexual stuff. But I don't know,
We're not going to promote them.
No, we're
but-
not.
but it was fucking hilarious.
There's a few things they're talking about. I was
hilarious.
thinking, I feel like Ollie might be able to relate to it, but I'm not too sure.
I'm not going to air our personal lives.
No, it's really fun. I'd like to go to another one, to be fair.
Okay.
Whenever they do that.
Did you learn anything about the intricacies of doing a podcast?
Yes,
Did they have
mate,
to?
not bad.
Did they have to?
Sell out, and it was how much pound however much a ticket.
Yeah.
Mate, we can make a killing.
I feel like we need to get.
If we had a fan base.
Exactly, we need to get a few more listens first.
We'll have Frederick.
Yeah.
He'll buy.
Listen,
a
we
ticket.
have a fan base.
Joe, this is
So
your
did they have to
personal-
like do edits on like live on air? Did they have to kind of stop and go back and?
No.
No.
No, it was all very.
Was it,
Very,
was it,
very
was it recorded?
No.
Oh, it wasn't recorded.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's
Fair
very
enough.
raw, yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good fun. There's so many awkward just moments though. So there was like a couple at the front, and it was like a white girl and I think a black guy, and he was like, so what's going on here? And then he was like talking to the guy, and he was like, so what's the plans with her? You're gonna get married?
And everyone,
And everyone was like,
oh
oh
yeah.
Roast.
It's good. It was
no,
good.
roasting, yeah, mate.
It was long, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah, we were there till like, what, 11:30?
Oh, you
Yeah,
just went
we
off the
got there
podcast
like
as well,
8,
didn't you?
Yeah.
7, but there was a bar, so did it for me. Straight at the bar,
Decent.
solid.
Well, you need to bring the hooch to
I
this.
know, I keep thinking.
saying it.
Yeah, mate.
What have you been up to, Chris? Anything?
Nothing too exciting, mate.
Went to a boot fair, mate.
Went to a boot fair.
What
Did nothing.
DVDs did you get from the boot fair?
I got Die Hard 1 to 4, Daddy's
Nice.
Home. I don't know what the other ones were. There's like 2 more, but I don't know what they are.
Boot fair's
Fair
good,
enough.
mate.
Yeah,
Absolute
yeah.
bargains.
Yeah,
Got my
bargains.
N64 from.
I got a Wii from there for
Yeah.
£5.
For a
Have you-
fiver?
Oh, I thought my brother wanted one, but he doesn't. So
Does it work?
yeah, it works.
Decent.
Yeah.
Sell it for £6.
Exactly, mate. Make my money back. There you go. Yeah.
Always thinking of business.
Yeah,
Business.
Okay, well, you mentioned Daddy's Home. Has anyone seen the trailer for Daddy's Home 2?
Yes.
No.
It was. I saw it before Transformers. To be honest, I should have left after the trailers, but we'll talk about that later.
Got Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Mel
What
Gibson.
did you think? I mean, have we all seen the first Daddy's Home?
I'm pretty much finished it, and it was alright. He got slated big time, but I thought it was alright.
I thought it was just one of those like easy to laugh. Just chuck on.
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
Really need to pay attention.
Background
Films.
noise, isn't it?
A
Yeah.
classic Will Ferrell film. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely. And Daddy's Home 2 looks pretty much the exact same thing, but another dad, I guess, or two.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson and I don't know the other guy.
John Lithgow, I think.
Of course
maybe?
you know. Of course you know.
He knows everyone.
Yeah.
I was shouting when I was listening to the podcast last week when you were trying to think of the guys in Baby Driver. I was literally shouting his name. I was like, Ansel Elgort.
That's such an obscure name, though. To be fair.
I know. Do you know what? I actually said because you know, like a lot of people in Hollywood, if they have quote unquote unsexy names, they like change their name.
Mm.
So there are some people who have their names in there. It's not their real name.
John.
I kind of feel like
Yeah.
it's kind of good that he's got his. I assume it's his real name, you know, rather than changing it to like Andre.
You'd think
Edwards.
because it's so obscure that it's probably more memorable, maybe.
Yeah, like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but it's not because I don't remember it.
Do you reckon you could see your name in lights?
Nah,
Ryan Reynolds. That's a pretty standard name. There's nothing about
yeah,
that.
but my
really.
name's pretty unsexy, to be honest.
Mate.
It helps if it's if it's not abbreviated, if it's
Alliterated, yeah.
alliteration,
Just
Yeah,
thinking
and
about
plus no one can spell either of my names.
Yeah, it's Glenn with a double N.
Yeah. Ever spell it with one N, I will literally destroy you. I will purposely misspell your name just to piss you off.
ouch!
Come on, Glenn, that's too far.
So we're not going to go and see Daddy's Home 2, or do you think we will?
Probably will, but I mean,
if I have time.
just because I got a pass, innit? Otherwise,
That's true.
otherwise I wouldn't bother. But yeah.
Have you seen any other trailers for anything? TV, film?
Not really.
Yes, something.
Before you saw All Eyez on Me, did you see the trailer for that comedy with the women called
Yeah, Girls' Night.
Girls' Night?
Yeah.
That looked dreadful.
Do you know what? I'm gonna watch it though.
Oh my
I'm gonna watch it
god.
though. I don't think it looked too bad. Well, let's should try.
Oh yeah.
But Scarlett Johansson's in it, so I'm like,
No.
oh, which one? Oh no, with the,
That's
women,
called-
the black women.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I know what you're talking
The other
about.
one's called Bad Night or something like that.
Oh, okay, but yeah,
The
I
one
know.
with Scott. They
Yeah.
both look shit.
That one looks bad too. As well. Do you know what? I always find it so funny when
Ooh,
you
so
go
sexist, mate.
when you
What
go
were you just talking about?
the film about some black women going on holiday.
Oh.
I always find it really funny, like when you go to like a film like All Eyez on Me or like Sleepers, and then the whole demographic of the trailer
Literally,
changes. No, it makes me
just
laugh
black
so
trailers.
much. Yeah, but yeah, no, I'll go and see it. Do you see the one about with patty cakes? Patty cake.
Yeah, that looked alright.
I didn't
actually.
watch that
looked
as well.
alright.
Yeah.
So Patty Cakes is like she's like an overweight female rapper, and she's trying to make a name for herself. She's alright. It looks.
It looks different. It looks
Yeah,
different.
it looks
I'll watch it.
It's not going to be playing in Beckenham though, is it? To be honest,
No, probably not.
they've been burned.
Yeah, but I think it was because wasn't it like the director's choice from the Cannes Festival, which is obviously like the big
Yeah.
film
Film
festival of like the
yeah.
year, isn't it? So it's like it's one of those feel good films, man. Like when we all went to see the Oscars films,
Yeah.
they weren't particularly like I'm not gonna probably watch them again because they weren't so much entertaining as more like thought provoking.
True.
Well, I feel like our local cinema doesn't typically show much ethnically diverse films, right? It's kind of just the mainstream. But we saw Sleepless and All Eyez on Me there, so I don't know if the tide's turning. I think maybe things like Fences and Moonlight, the success of that.
Well-
they're thinking, oh well, yeah, let's get a bit more diversity on our schedule. But then
It's not going to work for him if Sleepless was that bad and didn't do that good, and
Well,
if
exactly.
All Eyes on Me is not getting the greatest ratings in the world. So
You see that post?
Exactly.
I put up saying that even Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx thought it was shit.
yeah.
No, terrible.
Well, let's talk about All Eyez on Me then.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Joe had a trailer he wanted to
Oh,
talk
what'd you
about, mate.
Well, the Inhumans trailer.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the big one.
Come
That
on,
looked
guys.
really shit.
Yeah, it looked bad, didn't it?
It's very bland.
Yeah.
Very bland.
I think the problem you got is you got a main character who's not allowed to talk, because if he talks, it'll break your bones.
Didn't he grunt though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
And then
car
that's
was
why the
like-
guards went
Shouldn't-
round him.
But shouldn't that? I don't know. Maybe you. I don't know if maybe it wasn't you who told me this, but I felt like you told me like even if he grunts, that should still like.
Yeah, I like even a whisper.
Yeah.
That he has to. in the comics he has to control himself so he doesn't snore in his sleep. Because if he did, he'd like.
What if he
Destroy.
burps? Then you're fucked.
Then but I did. Yeah, but I did. Yeah.
Mate, God, if it was you snoring in
I
the
know.
world would be over. Day one.
We decided for our Napa holiday that me and Alex have got to share a room because we're the worst snorers.
Oh, yeah. Keep snoring.
I'm not actually sure if Alex's is worse than.
They keep saying he is, but
I'm
I don't think he
Alex's
is.
is really bad.
I think mine's worse.
I'm not sure.
But
I'm not sure.
Chris is a terrible snorer.
Yes, but on the point, I read somewhere that if Black Bolt was to scream in Thanos' face, he would only get a nosebleed.
Really?
So that's how powerful Thanos
Are
is.
the Inhumans going to be part of the
Apparently they
MCU?
are.
Okay.
No, are they part of it? Yes. Are they going to be part of the big film? Apparently.
Okay.
There's
Because-
there's a 50-person fight in the
Fucking
in
hell.
the or
As
not
in 50
fight,
versus
50
1, like
characters.
Thanos,
Sorry, not
right?
in a fight. 50 characters apparently are in the Avengers film.
That's nuts.
Apparently.
But yeah, so the trailer kind of
Yeah.
kind of puts Ramsey Bolton. Can't remember his name. I think he actually called Ewan Rayon.
Rayon or something.
Ewan
Like
Rayon.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's Welsh name. Sorry, mispronounced that. But yeah, so he's kind of the bad guy. So he's the brother of, is it Black Bolt?
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah.
he kind of is saying, oh yeah, we need to go back to Earth and colonize them, or
Yeah, because it's like if you watch Agents of Shield, there's like a whole season on it where there's like this little community of people who are Inhumans, and if you get touched with this stone or this certain ash or something, if you're compatible, you'll get powers. If you don't, you'll turn to like dust.
Okay.
And they just it was a mediocre season. They've kind of scrapped that now, but it kind of spoke about the Inhumans a bit and how loads of people across this MCU have got powers and stuff like that.
Do you feel like you need to watch that series before you watch the Inhumans?
No,
Okay.
no.
And
Especially how
long is
far
the
fetched.
Inhuman series?
Well, they said it's a saga, so I'm assuming that means it's 6
Okay.
episodes because a saga's 6, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, didn't they say the Star Wars was a saga before it turned into 7, 8, 9?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's
But
just
started
a
as
long
a trilogy,
arching.
though.
Yeah.
Well, is a saga not a long arching story?
I
Oh.
thought a saga
Like,
was
over
just...
several
yeah.
Is it?
years.
Oh, okay. God knows then.
But either way, I think considering the first 2 episodes are going to be released in IMAX cinema,
Yeah.
it looked really televisual. Like I've only ever seen the first episode of Agents of Shield and the first episode of Legion, but what put me off is the fact that it just looks like a TV series. Like the budget looks really low, the effects look pretty basic, and it just when you compare it to even like the origin stories of the MCU like heroes, you know, Ant-Man, Thor, any of them, the budget is huge and the effects are incredible. You just kind of think, can they not have the same for the Inhumans, considering
Will they
That's
make us?
funny, though.
Will they make as much money?
Well, yeah. You got to think...
Is there a
the
big
different-
cast?
the different-
Because obviously Ant-Man, you got quite a big cast for that. So obviously the price tag goes up for...
And you make probably
Memorable
more off
faces.
movies than you do off TV series, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, you most definitely
It's going to be
do.
hard to make a TV show that looks cinematic on a television budget.
But if they're releasing if you film with IMAX cameras, that automatically means that you've got to spend more money because it's more difficult and more expensive to film with IMAX.
That's only like the first 2 episodes, though.
But if
I think that's what he's trying to say though. Why don't they make the first 2
If the
episodes
first
at least
2
IMAX?
Oh,
they're,
really?
they're releasing
Okay.
them in the cinemas.
Yeah.
If you release a Marvel film in cinemas, you know, even the lowest rated film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe made about 200 million. I think that was Hulk, right? So since then, they all make several hundred million. You kind of think you're probably looking at about 100 million per episode for these things.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think just invest that back in. They've made over 11 billion pounds out of this Marvel Cinematic Universe. Put some of that into the Inhumans. They haven't had a flop yet, like arguably.
True.
So, I mean, obviously they don't want the flop, but
Yeah, no.
if the Inhumans is to be such a big part of the Marvel Cinematic or TV, whatever,
Yeah.
put a little bit of money. Or maybe they just don't think it's going to be any good. That's why they didn't make it a film.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's difficult now. So
Yeah.
But on that point, did anyone else hear that? Because I know you're saying last week that Venom is going to be a part of the MCU,
yeah.
but apparently they've now gone back and kind of said no, that it's not going to happen. They're going to be separate.
I heard that it's still going to be part of it, but Spider-Man's not going to make an appearance in Venom.
Okay.
That was what I
But
read
Carnage
2 days
is
ago.
going to be the other villain
Yeah.
of Venom, which would be
Well, yeah,
quite
because
cool.
he's like a symbiotic of Venom. There's like you got Carnage, Venom, Antitoxin, Anti-Venom. No, not Antitoxin.
No,
Toxin.
anti-venom.
Anti-Venom.
Antioxidants.
Anti-Venom. Toxin.
Antibiotics.
There's loads of them.
Coming in.
But I did read
There's
actually.
millions of them.
There's only 5 of them, but
There's millions of them.
But I read somewhere that in the Spider-Man universe, the other Spider-Man's in there as well already. So
As in, what's his
Miles
Morales.
Morales. Yeah. He's like the Spider-Man with the black suit with the red stripes. I don't know. I think he might have a different name, but yeah, he's gonna be in it, which I find quite bizarre.
Donald Glover's going to be in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Charles
Yeah,
Gambino.
I thought
but he
he-
voices Miles Morales in
Yeah.
animated TV. So is he?
I think he is, and he more Miles.
Is he going to be Miles Morales? We don't know.
a bit old, isn't he?
Maybe.
Because I'd assume he'd be younger than I don't know.
But apparently, the second Spider-Man film is going to take place minutes after Avengers 4.
Yeah, I've read that. Like, it's like
second following on from Homecoming.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
So
So
it will
then
take
going-
place seconds after or
going
minutes
after. It's like
Oh,
12
really?
minutes after or
Yeah.
something. He's gonna carry on from.
Oh wow.
Maybe he steals the shield from Captain America's corpse.
Whoa, hold on.
Oh, Captain America's going to die.
Nah.
He's going to die.
I want to go back
He
to.
will
So
die.
you were talking about Inhumans, about this guy who can't speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact that like having a superpower kind of gives you a disadvantage.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's something. It's something
Because
different.
I hate seeing a superhero who can still do everything,
Yeah.
but
True.
has got this also ability to do something amazing. I like it. So like in Rick and Morty, where sorry,
Oh, I
I'm
love
always
that.
bringing Rick and Morty, but there's an episode where this guy is the devil and he's selling off these things that give you powers, but it also like so you can have like awesome hearing, but then you'd lose your sight.
Yeah.
So I'd like that. I'd like to see that in superhero movies. I think that would make it well interesting.
It's like the guy from that advert who turns everything to Skittles.
Touch the rainbow.
That's back out today.
What? Skittles?
Rick and Morty season 3.
Oh.
Yes.
Out today.
Out today?
Yeah, the first episode.
Ah.
Apparently they were thinking about not even bringing it back out
Hmm.
because
I've
apparently the writers were having disagreements about how they want the show to go forward.
I've seen the
I
first
don't
two.
know. Is there a route?
Apparently, yeah.
I've seen the first 2 episodes and they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the second one, they changed the dog and the dog gets like
Oh,
becomes
yeah.
sentient. And it's like scary Terry.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's like, now I'm gonna piss on the floor. The judge is pissing in the corner.
Do they always like take the mick out of films and stuff?
I think they just get some of the storylines you do from previous
Yeah.
films, just because it's easy that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what
So
they
like,
do.
there's the one with the STDs, or that they're in the body. Yeah, made a theme park, so it's like Jurassic Park. isn't it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it is really good fun actually watching it.
Anyway, so back to All Eyes on Me. So this is the biopic.
Mate. We had no segues last week, mate. Where are your segues?
I had segued into it, but then we kind of went back.
Went back. Yeah.
Slacking, mate.
Sorry, I've had 2 weeks without segues. I need to kind of get back into my rhythm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair play, mate.
You
fair
need some
play.
swagways.
Segues. Right. So it's the biopic of Tupac Shakur, who was killed in '96. A rapper, kind of. Would you say he was an activist? Well, his words were kind of taken as inspiring, kind of, black movement across America in the '90s. So you two were gonna see it.
I was gonna go and see it, but I was
He
just too
did.
tired.
Spoiler:
I
he
just didn't.
dies.
I mean, to be fair, we'll say spoilers, but it's kind of it just presents the story of Tupac. So
Did it present it well?
this is the debate. What did you two think of it?
I didn't know a lot about Tupac to begin with anyway, so I just went in there with pretty much not an open mind, but more just no mind.
Blank.
Blank slate.
Yeah, literally. But I was kind of comparing it to the film that we saw a couple of years ago now. It must have been Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
Because I think when we saw that, there was a lot of discussion that because Snoop and Tupac were in it briefly at the end, that we were like, they might have a follow-on to obviously continue this story.
Yeah.
So I was comparing it to that, which was not a good idea.
No.
I liked it. I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, you'd recommend for us to go and watch it, or would you say just wait until it comes out on DVD?
I think it's more of a DVD film.
Okay.
It wasn't very cinematic.
Right.
it kind of looked like they were trying to go for a documentary style.
Yeah.
Kind of made
Definitely
it
the
look a
first,
bit.
like, 3/4 of it.
Yeah,
Really
kind
short
of.
Really?
scenes.
Yeah,
like,
it kind of just looked a
very
bit
jumpy.
like
I
a
didn't like
television.
that.
Would I have
I
fallen
didn't like
asleep
that.
if I was there?
You fall asleep during everything.
I mean, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, which is about as long as Straight Outta Compton was. So it is long for a film.
I didn't really particularly think Straight Outta Compton was that good.
But what did you think of it, Opes?
It was alright. There were certain bits of it that I enjoyed, certain bits of it. There's quite a few things about it that I didn't really like so much. So like I don't really like how the way they presented that. So like we said, the first probably like hour and 45 minutes of the film. So like started off with like the documentary bit, and then he would refer to a part of his life, and they flashed that part of his life,
Yeah.
and they flashed back, and then they flashed back again.
Yeah.
Because those bits were too short. I'm sure there was a lot more. Like I would have liked to know a bit more about when he was like in Baltimore, like at school and stuff like that, with Jada Pinkett and stuff like that. I would like to learn a bit more about that, but they flipped over that pretty quickly. Even when his come up, this is quite a similar thing with Straight Outta Compton as well. So like with Straight Outta Compton, they kind of show like the beginning, and then
There's a massive jump, isn't there?
yeah, so like they kind of show like the tiniest bit of them like getting to where they are, but then they skip over a load of stuff, and then suddenly they're just really famous and everything's going for them. That's the exact same thing that happened in this film, I think. Like there were only like really small, short scenes of him just like kind of being a dick to the producers that he started off with, like, oh, you got to do like this, you got to do this, like screaming in people's faces and stuff like that. And obviously, like, I don't know if this is actually the way it went down, because, you know, Tupac's dead, so he can't like be like, oh yeah, this is how it happened, this is how it happened. So like, I didn't really like. I thought those little beginning scenes were too short and not in depth enough. But then the film was 2 hours and 20 minutes, so then I'm not really sure
What they could have
if
done.
you could
I
have
think they had to please everyone though, didn't they? Because I know there's a lot of controversy around, especially for biopics. You don't. So even with the Compton, obviously they didn't want to. They didn't have a lot of DJ Yella and MC Ren.
No.
And
They actually
spoke
left
out.
They left out one of the founding members of NWA.
Yeah.
Was it Arabian Prince?
Arabian Prince.
What, he just wasn't... They didn't even put him
wasn't
there?
in
He just wasn't in it.
Oh, right. Was it because he didn't want to be in it?
No, I think he's afterwards. He's been like, well, fuck. He's just rewriting history here.
Oh, fair play. What,
I mean,
I was going to say, in the timeline, where is Tupac's story in terms of Straight Outta Compton?
well, so
Nearer to the end.
So Dr. Dre was in Worldwide Wrecking Crew, I think, in the late 80s. Tupac was in the Digital Sound Machine, something like that, in the
Was it
1990,
Underground?
something like that,
Underground.
in 1990. But then he didn't kind of get big until 92, 93.
Who's Tupac?
Yeah,
Oh,
and I
right.
think NWA were late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. He came to Death Row Records as around the time Dr. Dre was leaving it, and that was about 1994.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
And that was about that was about over halfway through the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd say that Tupac had a short, successful career?
He was 25 when he died.
Oh,
Yeah, but no,
super
but,
successful.
but what I mean is, like, in the span of where his music was becoming really famous, it was
Yeah,
a short
I
period of
think-
time.
oh,
where-
yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
released
He had
four
literally
I
no
think
time.
Is it 4 albums before he died?
I think it was more than that.
So
Was it?
he released more than 4 albums, and but I suppose that some of them were
He's
before he
released-
became really
There's three
famous.
with Death
Yeah.
Row Records.
Yeah.
Death Row Records.
Oh yeah, it's released through Death Row.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, so there's a bit of crossover there, isn't there? Because there's a guy who plays Dr. Dre in the film.
Yeah.
But then
Not the same guy from Straight Outta Compton.
no. I mean, he's now famous, isn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, because also because I don't know much of these timelines either. Because there's parts where Tupac is listening to Doggy Style, isn't it?
Yeah.
By Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But the way Straight Outta Compton presented it was that Snoop Dogg was up and coming whilst NWA were really famous. So I don't know like what the crossover there is.
I'm not really sure.
Is it made by the same production company, like film wise?
I don't think so.
No, that's
But
probably.
yeah, I understand what you mean about the fact that they kind of don't go into much depth about things. And obviously, yeah, it's 2.5 hours long, and they've got to cover a lot of his life. But things like which what Notorious covered more was when Tupac thought that Biggie was involved in his shooting. That they kind of glossed over that,
Yeah,
and that's
it's
quite
quite
a
brief,
big
and it's a
part.
really big
like
thing,
their
yeah.
beef was a
This is
huge
the thing. Their
part.
beef was really quite brief in the film. They didn't really like
No.
go over it all that much. Tupac was kind of like, I'm angry, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was kind of it. Do you know what I mean? Like he put out the the diss track and whatnot, and then it was kind of over.
Yeah.
I was thinking like they could have definitely fleshed this out.
They had
a
that
lot
like
more.
montage of him like figuring it out. Was it when he was in prison?
In prison,
And he was
yeah.
hearing the song and he was like,
Yeah.
it all makes sense, and that was it. Like boom.
Yeah,
Did you like that scene then?
No.
I feel like of everything, they just kind of they kind of had like a tick list of Tupac's life, like he was born, his stepfather was a Black Panther, his mother's a crack addict, blah blah blah. Have we covered that? Tick tick tick. It wasn't no depth in any of it really.
Is it because it's a biopic? Does the word biopic mean something?
The biopic is just
Because
a
Notorious was one as well.
It's
So,
Oh,
like,
was it? Oh,
so
so
straight
it
up
doesn't make it like a documentary, and then
Well,
therefore any factuals,
it's a dramatic part.
Okay, so I was going to say, so like, you know, the shooting kind of thing, that I was thinking maybe they couldn't put that in because it's like...
They did put it in. They did
Yeah,
put it
but
in.
not in the detail you wanted, wasn't it?
But then they had more detail in Notorious, and that was from Biggie's side of things, technically. I mean, biopics just stands for biographical picture.
This is the thing,
Oh,
though,
okay.
because Tupac's dead, his mum's dead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so like there's
No
no,
one's
there's
there
no
to-
one around to tell these stories. Like in so like I imagine they can only really go by a few people's select people,
people
who are
that
around
they know
him.
who
So then
are
they have
around.
to take the little bits that they've got, and then they've got to try and flesh out themselves. And because they haven't really got the actual factual information, that might be why they couldn't flesh out properly.
But yeah, I didn't really like the documentary style either.
Neither did I.
It was just like so the films.
I appreciate it, but I didn't like it.
The ones we've seen, right, are Get Rich or Die Trying, Notorious, 8 Mile, Straight Outta Compton, and this one. The previous 4 all just kind of have it as like from beginning to end or rise, and that's what I like. Like 8 Mile, that's probably my favourite out of the lot because it kind of ends with Eminem becoming like
Eminem.
Yeah, you know, he does his that freestyle battle and then he wins, and that's kind of you see for a long time him getting it wrong and like playing about with lyrics. And obviously it helps the fact that Eminem and 50 Cent are still alive,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's not as if you have to do their entire life.
I do think it makes it much easier to do these sorts of films when the people who are doing it are still alive.
Yeah,
Thing-
or at least most of
The
them.
thing is, though, you're saying about that you really like them before. I had an issue with NWA, not the NWA, sorry. I had an issue with Straight Outta Compton purely because I didn't think the film was very good. I thought the soundtrack really helped the film quite substantially because the film itself had good points but wasn't really... It's like you're saying, they miss out a lot of details and they skip a lot of stuff. And it's quite infuriating. I know the films are long, but maybe all this partying and stuff like that they show, like the people in the hotels and stuff, like they could probably cut that out and they could probably put a bit more detail in.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like you're saying, it'd be nice to have seen like they weren't even really struggling. They were in a bar doing some music, getting pissed off with some guy. Then they like, oh, we're gonna do some singing. Someone sees them, who's some knockoff Nigel, brings them about. Then they just fuck him off, and excuse my French, and excuse my bad language. In fact, don't want to scrutinise people.
Don't offend the French.
And then it kind of just jumps, and then it's over, isn't it? It's like it's kind of infuriating. And if the biopic's anything like that, then
Maybe
It's not
they
for
gloss
me.
it over just because, like, because whenever I watch it, I'm like, I don't know who this is, I don't know what that song is, and I always research loads more after. I spend more time researching about it than sitting in the cinema watching it.
It probably, I think I certainly know Tupac a lot less than I did any of the others. But
I've got... sorry, go on, what were you
I
gonna
was just going to say, like, what I enjoy about these musical biopics and why I watch them, like, I didn't really like Get Rich or Die Trying. I think that's comfortably the worst of the 5 that
I
I've
like that.
mentioned.
I do think. Oh,
Yeah,
I thought it
but
was decent.
what I
I thought it was
like
good.
about those films is the fact that you want to see you want to hear the music, you want to see them singing.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, I know it helps that Eminem and 50 Cent were in their own ones and they can rap.
Yeah.
But I still kind of feel like, even if it wasn't actually these people singing, but in Straight Outta Compton and in Notorious, I felt as if the actor was actually rapping, and there
They
was
mimed
quite,
it very well.
there was quite a lot of that, you know, of the music,
Yeah.
of the production. Whereas All Eyez on Me, each song was kind of just a snippet, and it was so obvious that he
really
was.
bad.
I mean, I liked the actor, but it was so obvious that he was miming, and I really didn't feel like, you know, it kind of, it didn't. It kind of felt like I was watching a video of a concert, but a really shit concert, or like highlights of something. You know, I wanted the whole. I wanted him to sing "Hit 'Em Up." Like,
I've seen them,
all of
mate.
it.
Before the Olympics.
And then even the big songs that he had, like, I know this might have been released after he died, but like Changes and things like that, they kind of missed. Even Brenda's Got a Baby, you hear a little bit of this. It's kind of like, no, I just want to see him singing, and I want to hear the actual an entire song. I mean,
Yeah. So I was like, I completely agree with you. It was even to the point where, so like, the person who played Snoop Dogg,
It didn't sound right, did it?
everything he did,
I said this to Glenn.
Snoop Dogg voiced over it.
Yeah.
Is that
really?
Is that legit?
Like literally, yeah. So like everything,
man.
everything you heard, that's Snoop Dogg's voice.
You're done.
What?
Oh,
They
This
just
wow.
is
have
actual
Snoop
voice.
Dogg? Oh.
And the guy didn't even look like Snoop Dogg
What
at
I do,
all.
nephew?
So I was like, so I was literally just like, what's the point of this? Like the
Yeah.
actor himself was thinking like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I got a voice.
Was it the same actor that played Snoop Dogg in?
No.
No.
I don't think
No.
so.
No,
Do you know what gets me?
Was it the same as Tupac?
No.
we,
no, it wasn't. No.
we were saying it. I think we said last week or a week before, whatever week on the podcast. Do people not watch back these films and look at it and think, right, that does not look right,
Yeah.
that does not sound right, we need to change it? And I know these scenes take months or they take days or they take whatever, but you'd think to make it right, to make people want to watch it, you'd watch it back and be like, right, need to do it again,
But they
need to change it.
normally in films they're called dailies. So once you do a day of footage, they look back at it and they'll either edit it there or they'll look back and say, actually that didn't look right, let's do it again.
Someone definitely looked at it and was like, do you know what, we're going to make money regardless,
But I
let's just
think-
put this out.
I think they were under time pressure from themselves because I think in America it was released on the 20th anniversary of his death.
No, this is for what would have been his 46th birthday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So obviously they were like, we have to release it on this day. So
But
maybe
isn't it
that-
being a year delayed anyway? You know?
I thought it was delayed, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they were meant to bring it out on his 45th birthday, but it's
Maybe.
been a year, so wait another 6 months, I'm sure people would have done it.
What they should have done at the end was cut to him in a bunker with Elvis and like
He's still alive!
JFK and whoever, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
just-
I've just got a few things that I want to say before we wrap up talking about this film. So, I liked the actor who played him. I thought he did well to a point, but I don't know if you thought the same thing, but there was a certain charisma that I felt he couldn't really bring to the screen. So if you take his performance, then you contrast to Richie right at the end where they showed that clip of actual Tupac, and I was like, it's just so different. Like, I mean, you can't really blame him for that, but like,
But I mean that's the same for most films.
True.
That do that sort of biopic where that the character is played by the actual person.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
true.
put that right. Like Straight Outta Compton, none of them actually looked like the five.
Apart from
But
Ice
Ice
Cube's
Cube's
son.
Well,
Well, yeah,
They
there's
easily look pretty like.
and Snoop Dogg and Tupac look. I know they weren't part of the main five, or they were, but in the background they look
Well,
pretty
no,
like
they all
them.
look pretty similar, but if you
Yeah.
compared one image to the other, apart from Ice Cube's son,
Yeah.
they wouldn't look very much the same.
Yeah.
True.
But so yeah, there was that, which was and also the guy who played Tupac, I think his name's like Demetrius
Shit Junior.
That's the one. He had I don't know if you noticed it, but he had a really there was a really weird acting choice that he kept doing. It was this head tilt, this
Yeah.
like this. He does it literally about 100 times in the film. This really deep. I'm thinking about what you're saying. Head tilt to the
no.
right. It was really weird. I was thinking like.
That's all I'm going to pick up now next time I watch
I was thinking like,
He'll just head tilt.
you can use this a couple times, like sparing here and there, but he literally did it like pretty much every scene he was in. And I was thinking like, I'm not sure what you're trying to achieve here. It's a bit of overkill. That's fine. Got that out of the way. And there was I don't know if you know, but obviously Tupac and Jada Pinkett Smith were really good friends when they were younger. And she tweeted after the film was released saying like these certain things that are in the film aren't true. So the bit where he read her a poem at the beginning, that's not true. She didn't see that poem until after he died and he printed a book or something like that.
Oh,
The bit where
that was actually moving, that bit.
that was
I think that's why they put it in there probably.
the bit where I think something about him leaving LA and like calling her up before he leaves or something like that didn't happen. And then another bit about the bit where they had the argument after he did the diss track, that didn't happen either because she never went to any of his shows.
It's what I was saying last week. It's this whole regimented. We've got to have some kind of love story in this.
Yeah.
We've got to make it this, and there's this plot line of a film.
Yeah.
They just got to get rid of it.
I like the way their relationship was portrayed in the film though.
Yeah, because it was kind of like hinting at romance, but he kept saying like, I love you as a friend sort of thing. But the diss track, I mean, I love that song, but
Yeah.
again, the whole thing with Faith Evans, just cover like 2
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he walks into the bar, it's like, oh, that's Biggie's wife, and then the next thing is like they photograph together, and then it's like, I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. And then he's like, okay, cool, we'll deal with that. And then when he says, oh, the FBI have got a 4,000-page file on you, it's like, I want to know
Why?
what they've got on you, and I wanted to kind of see like FBI, you know, trying to look into him, all sorts of things.
Why were they? Do you know anything like does it hint towards why they would have a file on him?
I think it's
Because he was portrayed as an activist for like black people and stuff like that.
Because his mum wasn't.
His mum was a Black Panther.
Oh, was there some
so
comment
just-
about being Malcolm X or someone else in it or something?
Huh?
I don't know.
Or was that a
well,
different film?
Malcolm X was the leader of the Black Panthers.
Yeah,
But
there
his
wasn't there.
stepdad and his mum were Black Panthers in the 70s.
And like the vice president like called him out for some of his lyrics or something like that, saying like
Yeah.
incite violence and stuff like that.
But also, it doesn't kind of. I know they probably couldn't much for legal reasons, but his death is such a controversial thing, and obviously there's
that's what I'm going to say. Sorry.
there's kind of suggestions that it was Biggie's death was revenge for Tupac.
Yeah.
So obviously we can't substantiate that, but I kind of wanted them to delve into that and be like, oh, you know, did Biggie have something to do with it? Did P Diddy? You know, it's kind of like it ends with him dying, and then it's like to this day his murder remains unsolved. It's like, tell me something about it. don't just say present that. It's like, well, what have I just watched 2.5 hours for? Like,
Yeah, but you can't be like, this murder has been unsolved, but we think it was this guy, who's this guy.
Yeah, but then, you know, throughout it, you've got, even this one and Straight Outta Compton, you've got presentations of Suge Knight being kind of a criminal.
Yeah.
And whilst a lot of that may be true, like, I guess, you know, you can't prove some of it, and a lot of it might just be speculation.
Didn't he fucking run someone over?
Yeah.
Like
Like a year ago or something.
when the film was Straight Outta Compton was coming out.
Mate, he is going to bring out a book and he's going to make millions in a few years, and he's going to spout everything, even if it's a lie.
Those you were going to say.
Yeah, sorry. So like, just last 2 things. So, the in the film, the night that he died, you know, the little scene with him and Quincy Jones' daughter, like right before when he leaves and then he like turns back as if, oh, I don't know if I should stay. I was like, this is bullshit. This definitely did not happen. Oh, it was like him. Like they were like switching scenes between him like staring back at the door thinking, oh, should I just stay? Or and her thinking like staring at the door thinking, oh, I should tell him to come back, sort of thing. I was like, this is bollocks.
It's like they knew.
Yeah, we knew. Yeah, it's like this definitely. And like even his friend was saying, oh, are we gonna go? Like, what do you want to do? Are we gonna go? And it was like, oh, you can go, you can stay. And it's like, this definitely didn't happen. He's definitely like, oh, I'm going,
and then
let's
also
go.
she was like, oh, he's like, I'll be an hour tops,
Yeah.
I'll come back to you. And it's like, you're
I
no...
was like,
It's
this
his
did
body
not,
double.
This
He
did
actually
not
stayed.
happen. But there's that. And also this is just my last thing. This is my my going back to realism in film. So you know the bit where he sees a black guy getting beaten up by 2 white people, and then he goes into his car and gets a gun. So he goes and gets his gun. He comes out and he like gets on one knee and like holding the gun like cop stars and just like and like shoots both cops in like, the leg or something like that. And I was like, he definitely didn't shoot him like that. Like, come on, man. Like, who does that? Like,
Outside.
but not even like that. No
Gangster.
one's gonna get in the car, get on their knees, and do cop stance and start fucking shooting people and him squaring the leg. I doubt that happened. But it's for drama.
Maybe he
it's
slipped.
for drama.
Maybe there was a banana peel. And he was like awkwardly, and he already shot, so he had to carry on shooting.
But yeah, it's for drama, so I don't mind.
Did you notice that Lauren Cohan, who plays Maggie in Walking Dead, she was 3rd top billing, and she was in it for less than a minute.
Who should play?
She was the one who had that house party when he was really young, and she was like, oh yeah, you've got serious talent. I'll give you my...
What does that mean, top billing?
So
they
you
get
know,
paid
like,
the most.
Oh, okay.
It's just, you know, like in the Star, it's like starring Kevin Spacey, Ansel Elgort, John Bernthal.
How many
And
really
you're like, John
famous
Bernthal,
people?
You were in it for 10 minutes, mate.
How many really famous people were in it though?
Well, not many, but it's kind of
She's
like...
pretty famous.
Yeah,
But that's how it works these days,
Today,
isn't it?
Yeah, you're paying for the label.
Yeah.
yeah,
For
but
the
you
label,
know,
mate.
that's kind of thing you'd be like, blah, 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 and with.
Things.
Yeah.
Featuring.
Okay,
So a lot. This is the.
it's a battle of last
Yeah.
word,
So,
isn't it?
Did you not think? So like they got the same person who played Notorious to play Biggie Smalls in this one. Did you not think he was phoning it in quite a bit?
Oh, my...
I thought his performance was really
He was shit.
really lackluster. Like
Yeah, he just
really
stood there
bad.
with like stink eye on his
Yeah.
face. Like,
I don't know. I mean, he was only in a few scenes, but I was just like, come on, man, please put a bit of effort in. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But yeah. It was alright.
let's
No, but it was
move on.
yeah, but it was okay.
I would say out of the 5, it's number 4 for me. It'd go 8 Mile, Straight Outta Compton,
mate.
Notorious, All Eyez on Me.
You disgust me.
Then
Don't even-
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Right, ratings out of 10, you three?
6.5.
6.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 6.5 as well, same as Oates.
So,
Fair play.
above average film.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Well, I want to talk. I know you lot talked about it last week, but I want to talk about Baby Driver.
Oh, right.
Transformers.
That's
Go on.
I'm going to talk about Transformers.
Baby Driver has done really well apparently so far. At the
I've
box
seen
office.
it.
People are
Twice.
people are
Have
loving
you?
it.
seen
It's
it
really,
twice?
it is,
I've
it
seen it
is really
twice.
good actually. To be fair,
It
I might
is
watch
so
it.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
I went and saw it with Glenn. His girlfriend was there for some strange reason.
Do you know what? She said the same thing. She thought Ollie was there for some reason.
Well, no, I spoke to her later. We were like, where was Glenn there?
Yeah, no, it's just such an enjoyable film. Like, it's one of those. It's like it's kind of a crime film, but it's like a light-hearted crime film. It's not like really deep and serious. I think the acting's really good. I mean, didn't you say you didn't really like
questionable,
Jamie Foxx?
questionable acting from some of them. I think.
I quite liked. I
thought
thought they were all pretty solid, to be honest. And you know, like Jamie Foxx is having fun with his character, right? And I thought the central romance was really sweet. The soundtrack was really good, and even some of the action was pretty good. I mean, I came out watching it the first time and being like, I want to watch it again.
I think it's one of those films where I wouldn't potentially give it a really high rating. It'd be like it'd be above. It'd be a good rating, like a 7-8. Don't know where in that spectrum, but it'd be in that spectrum. And it's one of those films you could watch over and over again. I think.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's like you said, it's light-hearted. But yeah, it was a good film. I mean, the guy's a good writer as well. Is it Edgar Wright? He did like what Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz,
Scott Pilgrim.
bloody the other third rubbish film.
World's
Wasn't it?
End.
Oh god.
Keep going.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I think the thing that I liked most about it was the like the adrenaline rush of them all failing. Joe, you've seen it, haven't you?
No.
Oh, okay. So they pretty much fail about. Well, they carry off their job, but the getaway car gets fucked up.
Right.
So they're pretty much on foot, but they've got half the city cops coming after them.
His
There we go.
parkour.
That's
his,
timely, isn't it? The best in the background.
his parkour. I don't know where it came from, but it was unreal,
It's
mate.
better than the parkour in Assassin's Creed.
I haven't seen that film.
Okay, it's
and
not.
I'm
He's jumping over tables.
Yeah.
All right, I think you're exaggerating a bit much. He jumps over 3 tables.
Right.
That was it though. That was my top bit. It was like the running away from the police, and it wasn't really short. It was actually quite prolonged. So it was like him in the park. He's like, "What do I do?" And then you see like John Hamm and his girlfriend go off running around. Obviously the police were chasing them because they're shooting rifles and shit.
Yeah. What I liked about it was it kind of it wasn't that predictable to an extent, and I kind of was worried that a lot of the best bits would be in the trailer. But a lot of the stuff that's in the trailer happens within the first like 10-15 minutes, which I was really surprised at, but also really liked. Because you kind of think, oh, when's this bit going to happen?
Yeah.
But it all happens pretty much within the first like 10-15
And plus, when that
minutes.
happens, it kind of ruins films.
Yeah. But also the editing was just so on point.
Yeah.
Like, when he the montage of him getting the coffee the first time, and then he's like every beat of the music he's turning, or he's jumping.
It's so lame, but
Or-
yeah, it does work.
It's just so clever, and that to do that must take so much skill because he has to time the track, he has to edit it so that it all fits within that that the kind of timing of the song, and even when like the mural's got a saxophone or trumpet, and then he's doing that again, and every edit is on point. And
Let's
I
be
thought
fair, this is what they're paid for, so it's about time someone
but
started
that's
doing it right. You know what I
It
mean?
is very hard.
But that's the thing. There's few films where you can really appreciate the editing like
Yeah.
that, and it was kind of lyrical in a sense. It was like a musical.
You really like the music. I wish they had a classic, maybe George Michael, put that in there.
Yeah.
Like it's.
It was also
Nobody's looking at me.
it was also kind of timeless.
Mate.
I really didn't know when it was set because I originally thought it was set in like the 90s or something, but then they've got iPods. Because then he says,
Well,
"Did you hear about
iPods came out in the 90s.
Did it? I don't know.
The old school one he had, he didn't have a sophisticated one, did he? He had a fat chunky one, didn't he?
But I just wasn't. It was just kind of felt like it was in the time of its own.
Yeah.
Because they say something about, oh, did you hear about the guy from '85, the getaway driver? And then he's like, there's no way that he's old enough to have done that. But then I was kind of thinking, well, if that's '85, then maybe this is '95. Because I mean, Ansel Elgort's
Well,
probably
yeah, because he was
about
like,
our age.
but they were saying he was about 8 and 85, weren't they?
Yeah, which would mean, you know, if he's 22, it'd be early 2000s or something.
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
which makes sense, really.
Yeah. I don't know if my maths is really bad there.
No, that's
Well,
right.
it would be.
Yeah.
It would be early too.
It's definitely. I agree with Glenn. It's definitely one I'd recommend to watch.
I mean, it would be a solid
give it a
9
watch.
if it wasn't for the ending. The ending, I was really disappointed in.
Well,
That's what I was
according to
saying
the
as well.
cast,
I don't know
apparently
if
you can take the ending for something else. I didn't read into it, but apparently they all had a different idea of what the ending actually meant. I was like, I thought it was pretty straightforward. He met up with the love of his life, and she went off with him.
If you don't want like that ending, just stop the film. Like, when it's on, like Lord of the Rings actually has like 5 endings that people are like, oh my god, why are you just prolonging this? But you know, just stop the film if you
To be
don't
fair,
want to see that.
They
ending.
could have stopped the film when he put his arms up and was like, I'm going with the cops. They could have probably stopped it there. And then again, they could have stopped it again when they sentenced him, and they could have stopped it there.
Yeah.
And again, they could have stopped it when she was in the car with him, talking to him, saying, we've got away with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would either rather it have ended when the camera's looking down on them and they're driving through the forest,
Yeah.
and you think, okay, they've got away with it.
And then you see
Bonnie
the
and Clyde sort of,
Yeah.
they get away with it, cool, they're going to live the happily ever after. Then they get stopped by the cops, and then it's like, okay, he's going to prison. And then, like, I think one of you, I think it might be you, Chris, when she sends him the postcards.
That was
Oh,
me.
That's
Oh,
it,
so
yeah.
you. Yeah, that I would be happy with that. It's kind of,
Yeah.
okay. But then he gets out after 5 years of his 25
Do you know
year
what? This is what
sentence.
I've been thinking about it ever since you started talking about Baby Driver again. It's really annoying me. He killed at least one person, no, 2,
Well, he killed Jamie Foxx.
and he killed the other guy.
Well,
didn't he?
Jamie
Didn't he
Foxx
knock
wasn't
him
wearing a
off?
seatbelt, so I think he killed himself actually.
If
seatbelts,
the
kid.
seatbelt would have saved him from that, that'd have been impressive. But he kills.
But that was like Final Destination.
Yeah,
shit,
that
wasn't
was it. But it kills 2 people, and he got a sentence. Yeah, okay, got given 25 years, didn't he? But to good behaviour get let out after 5 is a bit. Wow,
Yeah.
is that real? Is that
Yeah, well, the good behaviour thing is real. I don't know whether.
about 5 years?
Yeah,
though?
And he's white, so. Hey, I'm just saying.
She also, like
State
Lily
the
James's
name.
character, Deborah.
State the name.
She's happy to go along with all this stuff.
Yeah, that's another stupid
Like, what
thing.
the
Isn't
hell?
it?
Like, first of all, he's this mysterious guy. Then he kind of brings these criminals into her diner. Then he kills someone, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna find you a car." Like, in
That's
what-
the adrenaline.
That's what I'm
She's
saying.
like,
It's
oh my
quite
God,
old.
there's so
I feel
much
like that
adventure.
makes it quite like
Old
old
school,
school sort
yeah.
of thing, like love at first sight.
Yeah.
I think the thing the Edgar Wright could say is that they had that connection from straight off because they were both 2 people with pretty much nobody, and they just wanted to get out and go away and just do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
So,
But I loved it.
yeah.
I'll probably buy it on DVD. And I know you don't want to. Oh, go on.
I was going to talk more about Edgar Wright actually.
Yeah.
Because I read somewhere that he said that he'd potentially make Hot Fuzz 2.
No.
Nah, just leave it alone.
What we thinking?
Leave it alone. It's as good as it is.
It is, but
It is a very good
I'm
film.
sure a lot of people now,
Be in
because
a
when it
different
first came out,
village.
I can guarantee when Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz first came out, no one thought it was going to be like wow,
No.
and now it's like it is referred to.
A
I'd
cult
assume
thing.
a classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic that's always on TV. It's one that you could just sit down and watch and have a laugh with. It's got 2 funny guys. So like watching Hot Fuzz 2, I think bare people go and watch it. So money, raining
but-
down on me.
Yeah, that dilute them. It will dilute what they're known for. You know?
I just kind of think it's kind of done. Just move on. Like, yeah, fair enough.
do
work
something
with-
different, like Paul. So Paul obviously wasn't part of their trilogy, but it was something good with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, and that
Was it done by
really
Edgar
good.
Wright, though?
That
I
was
don't
great.
think so.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah, I know.
great team. I
Yeah,
love
it
a
is.
duo.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Really
happy.
duo.
I'm happy to see them in a film again together, but not necessarily a sequel to one of their.
Why
films.
is Nick Frost not in Star Trek?
Because Simon Pegg's like, hey, I'm more famous than you now. See you later.
Isn't Simon Pegg like writing some of the stuff for that as well?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So he doesn't include him?
he's a massive Trekkie, so the producers
He's a-
brought him in
He's
to
a,
be
yeah,
like,
he's a big
what
Star Wars
happened
fan as
to
well,
him?
yeah,
Yeah.
because he was,
He
one,
was
of, one of the
Force
aliens.
Awakens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
But
Wait, was he?
Yeah,
He was a stormtrooper, wasn't he?
one.
Or
No,
was
he
he-
was in
Yeah.
the diner when Ray. No.
Oh yeah.
In the Millennium Falcon.
What's
wasn't
John's
John
character?
Boyega's.
John Bragg's character called Finn.
Right.
He goes into and then he's like, yeah, he's the big fat alien.
Oh
behind
yeah, it's Daniel
Oh,
Craig who's the stormtrooper, isn't it?
I wondered why I didn't recognise
Yeah,
him.
Edgar Wright was supposed to do Ant-Man, and then he got kicked off that, or they left, you know. But you can see a lot of his humour in Ant-Man,
Yeah.
which is why I quite like it. And then just to briefly say hi, I really hated Transformers 5.
So you're in mutual agreement with us, are you?
It's so bad.
It is.
So bad.
I mean, I want to make this a theme of today. It is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life.
Mm.
I literally had no idea what was going on. It was a
So bad.
CGI fuckfest. There's just so much shit going on. And
I
was
told
just
you,
like,
mate.
what the fuck? And I was literally, I checked my phone and it had been an hour, and I was like, oh my god, I've got an hour and a half of this
Came
left.
out the cinema and it texted us like, why did I watch this? It's so shit. And then Chris was
hated
like, knew it.
Told you.
Mate.
It just kind of felt like,
You were there for
Michael-
ages when it wasn't even that long. That's what it felt like to me.
it felt like Michael Bay had just given up.
Mm.
It's kind of like, he's just like,
Well,
oh,
yeah,
I don't care about anything
it's the
anymore.
fifth film.
But he hasn't though, because he's left it on a cliffhanger, so you can have another film.
Oh, so shit. And how many times is Optimus Prime going to say, I am Optimus Prime? Fuck off.
I'm back.
But how many times is he going to die and come back? Well,
Oh, and then it always ends with, oh yes, Transformers, Earth is a place that you can come to. Now, fuck off, Transformers. I don't want you. Go away.
do you know what? Fair play to you, mate. Fair
And
play.
then Anthony Hopkins, he was having a ball. He was like making it rain with his dollar. Like,
You were saying that.
he was having
You hated
so
his
much
dollar.
fun.
I didn't hate it. I just thought he made a really stupid decision before he died.
Turning his
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Turn your back
Fuck.
on your enemy.
And how many times is Megatron gonna come back? Like, he dies in every single film, and I swear he looks different. Let's
Come
not
on,
talk
mate.
about
Let's
it.
segue
he does.
into.
He looks different in every film.
Let's segue. What
Let's segue onto.
What can you think of films that are just utterly atrocious?
Tron Legacy.
yeah.
Tron Legacy.
That
Why
film
is it so
was
bad?
dire.
That film
That
was
You
film
are
was
wrong.
so
Yeah,
shit.
I don't think the thing is
Shut up.
Tron Legacy.
You're in a wrong.
I think with Tron
set of
Legacy,
minds, mate.
it was. I think for people who don't really pay, who haven't seen Tron,
We don't like good
it's
movies.
a bit like it was just a long film with no real, like, nothing. Nothing happened really.
So do you think it's shit?
I think it's okay, but that's only because I've watched the original one
It.
and I prefer the original
Let's
one.
hear it from Obi, and then we'll hear from Ollie.
It's alright, calm before you.
Why is
I'll get Captain
Tron
America
Legacy?
Do you know what?
I haven't seen it, mate, so I can't. Don't you worry.
No. Do you know what? I actually can't remember why it's shit.
That's the thing with shit films.
That's the thing, you forget
but
all about it.
I remember thinking at the time, oh my god, this is so shit.
What is Tron Legacy about? Is it a sequel
Yeah.
to Tron?
Something about a game or something.
They,
I honestly can't remember.
I think they go into a game, don't they?
I tried to
Yeah.
I tried to erase it from my memory because it's really that bad. There's that, and sorry, also the Keith Lemon film.
Oh,
One of the
man.
one of the worst films I've ever seen. in my
Yeah.
life.
I remember you guys because I didn't go and see these two films. I didn't see the Keith Lemon film and I didn't see the other Sacha Baron Cohen film, The Dictator. And I remember.
I didn't think that was that was.
Oh,
that was good.
I had everyone come and say they
He's
were
had
both
another
rubbish.
one come out, isn't he?
Grimsby.
Yeah.
Grimsby.
Oh yeah.
I haven't heard much
that,
about
that was
that.
really fun.
Okay, Joe, why is Tron Legacy so bad?
Well,
Joe loves it, mate.
no, I don't. But again, it's just the same as Obi. I can't really remember why it's bad, but I just remember it being in the cinema thinking, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
That makes it even worse when you say I can't remember any
Exactly.
part of the story of why it's bad.
Like,
Are you gonna go and watch oh no, it's Blade Runner. I was gonna say you're gonna watch the sequel, but
what,
Okay, so-
what, like, what,
no,
Blade Runner?
I thought it was another Tron
very
sequel.
Yeah,
erudite, explanations of why.
It's
well,
just
Tron
the
is so
story was shit.
just
The
shit.
music was
What
shit.
is the story?
The music. How can you say the music is shit?
What are the
music
visual
is
effects like? Were
Mate,
the visual
wow,
effects any
ouch.
good?
Ouch.
I feel like that would be a VFX.
I
heavy
feel
film.
like it was so long ago that you went to see it in the cinema and you haven't watched it since
Yeah.
that you can't really make a comment on the visual
Well,
effects
no,
and how
the visual effects, they're obviously better than the original Tron film. More modern. Exactly, but
Like the
It's
first
the
one's
same.
on like an 8-bit.
exactly, no, but it's the same, but just modernised. Yeah,
it was basically a reboot of the original, but they made it a sequel, kind of like what
Yeah.
they're doing with Jumanji.
oh, that trailer looks so shit.
I think
was-
it's
that
alright.
was the
I think it looks
I
alright.
think it's quite
I'm
funny.
gonna go see that. I think
That
it's-
looks good, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
I've got some shit
Give it
films
up,
though.
Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, mate. It's a fucking
Yeah.
Let's hear Ollie's defense of Tron Legacy.
My defense, I have to defend it. My opinion is that I enjoy it because I don't know. I think it's stunning visuals from the CGI. I think music's pretty good because it's set in this it's a pretty much futuristic computer world. So you're gonna have like Daft Punk, who are the guys that do the music, and yeah, I really enjoyed the story, man. It's got the classics, it's got the frisbees, got the light bikes. Stuck in the game. It's the world of being in the game, mate.
It sucks.
Which is
Spy Kids
Jumanji.
Spy Kids did it better, man. Sorry.
Look,
Spy Kids
oh my
3D is
god.
bomb.
Sword Art Online, mate.
Oh my god.
Sword Art Online. Jeez. Alright, what are your worst films then?
Well, I can see Sucker Punch, which God knows what that was about, but it's
That
fucking.
got slated, didn't it?
Apparently, it had
Sucker
one of the
Punch.
best trailers people had seen, and then they watched the film
Is
and
that
it was
a
rubbish.
Zack Snyder film?
You know what? It actually might be. You know.
Oh, I've got.
You actually know. It actually might be. Also, Racing Stripe was pretty rubbish, but I think that's more for kids. So,
Racing Strike.
I've got news.
Racing Stripes.
Remind me to
News.
say about
I'm writing this down.
News
News about what?
Yeah.
Obi.
You said about Zack Schneider.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say. I'll let you say it.
Well, it is a Zack
Got-
Schneider film.
It
It's
is a Zack
Sucker
Snyder
Punch.
film.
Yeah. See.
He doesn't make good films in the eyes of Chris.
Okay, well, can you think
No,
of anything why they're shit?
It was just a bad story. You expected it to be a different film to what the trailer portrayed it to be, and then you saw it and it was like, oh no, please not again.
Huh.
But that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I try and forget really bad films. Like me and Obi did start
Yes.
watching a really bad TV series. Do you remember we were going to watch it on Netflix that one time? Yeah.
Degrassi.
Degrassi. Oh my god. Anyone ever told you to watch Degrassi? Just don't do it.
So, I like teen dramas, yeah. It's like a teen drama show, but literally this show, I think it's like a spin-off, because the original Degrassi, I think Drake was in it when he used to be an actor. So this show is literally some of the worst acting I've ever seen, ever.
It's so
I
bad.
feel like I could be in it, honestly, like, and not look out of place.
Yeah,
It was,
was.
oh mate, it was so bad. We literally, I think we watched like one episode.
Yeah.
We were like, fuck this.
Wow.
Dragon Ball's pretty rubbish as well. Although I wouldn't put it on.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
It's on the spectrum where I remember it, but I don't know if I remember it because I remember the cartoon more than because I remember the film.
I remember the
film was
film.
pretty bad.
They just changed everything in that film.
It's pretty bad.
They changed.
That's
everything.
that's what I was saying. Like not too long ago, that's an example of like like turning anime into live action. Where sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when they tried to do Dragon Ball, it didn't really work.
Yeah.
Well, did Ghost in the Shell work for you
I
guys?
didn't see it.
Yeah, it was alright. It was alright.
Yeah.
Certainly not as bad as Transformers The Last Night, where they just rewrite history.
mate.
Yeah.
They're rewriting history left, right, and
Then
centre.
let it go, mate.
First
let
of
it
all,
go.
he's in the fucking medieval times,
And then-
and then he killed Hitler, and I'm just like, what?
Wait, who killed Hitler?
A little watch killed
Bumblebee.
Hitler.
A little
Fucking,
watch.
don't know.
No,
his
Bumblebee
name
was
is.
part of the war, and a little watch killed Hitler.
I don't know. So stupid, man. And do you know what? When I was watching the film, there were so many things. When I was the scenes that are happening, I was watching it, and all I could think of were films or shows that have done it better. So the opening scene, I was like, do you know what? I didn't really like King Arthur that much, but King Arthur did this opening gambit better. Game of Thrones does it better every single week. The fucking dragon made out of Transformers with 3 heads. I was like, okay, if they didn't think of that after Game of Thrones, then like if that was not directly influenced by
Yeah.
it, then
It's because of what he's saying though. It's based off a toy line, isn't
Yeah.
it? So they've made a comic book series now, and it's got a lot of depth.
ridiculous.
But
And then all the little flying drones look like Star Wars. The amount of Star Wars things
Yeah,
I was
but they-
looking at it, thinking, oh, this is Star Wars.
That is that point. Transformers is based off of a toy. So they have nothing before the original toys, so they make everything up. And they get influence from everything
see,
and just
I
remake
get
it.
you. I get your.
Plagiarising.
See, I get your point, but it started from a toy brand, but it has become a comic brand. So it should be the films based off the comics, like we do with Marvel, isn't it? Rather than
Well, yeah. it
rather
should-
than let's let's base it off the original
But
toy.
the
But
first 2 films are alright.
They
Like
weren't that bad.
it's kind of like
It was
the
a good
story.
show, both was
But it's
it?
it's the central story
Yeah.
between the guy
He
and
knows.
his transformer, right? There's an actual kind of human element there, and like you kind of
some connection.
well,
isn't
there's
there?
some
they
sort
just
of-
bring so many different characters in, and
Yeah.
the guy who's voiced by John Goodman, the one who's got the cigarette in his
Yeah.
mouth, don't understand a single thing he says. And then when they're on the ship at the end, I was thinking,
Because
this
he's
is
got a cigar in
Alien.
his mouth.
This
mate.
is
That's
every
what I
Alien
understand.
film ever. This is
Yeah.
Alien 1, Alien 2, Alien
It's-
Resurrection, Asian Prometheus.
This is
better.
another. This is
Not
another
better
thing.
than that.
This is what I was saying last week. It's so, and I said it again earlier today. The films seem to always have a timeline, and they always have a love interest. And there was no need for this love interest in Transformers. It was just another added FU to the crowd, like Mark Wahlberg can get a girl wherever he wants to go,
Yeah.
even if he's in a war about to die. He's got one.
Oh,
In a submarine with her, boom.
I'd rather have watched Sleepless twice.
Do you think it was worse than Sleepless?
It was worse than Sleepless.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know.
Sleepless is up
Sleepless,
there.
Sleepless
sure.
is pretty
I'm
bad.
not sure.
But yeah,
That's-
that was pretty bad. Other crap films include any kind of parody that they've made, any spoof film
I
they've
hate
made
spoof.
Disaster movies.
since Scary Movie 2.
I don't even like
Oh,
Scary
no.
Movie.
Scary Movie 3 was alright.
I hate spoof films.
They're all shit.
Austin
Disaster
Powers is the
movie,
only one I like.
superhero
Oh yeah,
movie.
Super Powers is pretty jokes.
Mm.
The only one.
What? I
Yeah,
don't know what
they're
else they're
just
called.
cheap.
Disaster
The
movie.
Hunger Games featuring Blade, whatever. I don't know.
That would be a sick film.
Oh, actually, Blade might be coming back into the MCU.
Yeah. Did you see they put a picture out of
Blade
Jamie?
was part of the MCU.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's Marvel.
It's Marvel. It's up
Oh,
there. There's 3 films and there's a
Didn't know
TV series
Mm.
of Blade.
What,
They-
that are getting made?
No.
or-
Originally,
yeah,
there's
right.
the TV series up there, and
Yeah.
there's the 3 films down there. But someone made a picture of Jamie Foxx as Blade, and I think it looks pretty good actually. So, I'll show you guys later.
Where?
I think that'd be alright. I think you showed us the picture just then. Looks decent. Is actually just want to ask: is Blade a black character in Marvel? Do we know?
I've never read a comic, so
No
I wouldn't
idea.
have a clue to be honest, mate. But he's always been depicted as a black character, so I
Yeah.
guess.
Fair enough.
I think in the TV series he is, and in the film series he is. So,
Mm.
Okay, just wondered.
but I don't know if they're the exact same character, like the actor. So.
No,
I've not seen either of them. I've just got them on DVD. So
in the
the
comics,
first Blade film's decent.
in the comics, he is black.
Oh, how can you have all these films and have not even seen them?
that's one of the ones I
Stop
haven't
going out and
seen.
buying movies and you're not even watching them.
But
True.
back to
Got a
shit
rival.
films.
You've got Blockbuster in here.
Yeah.
Back to shit films.
Shit films.
Right, this is the topic. You know, when you go into HMV or we missed that funny joke now. Didn't record it.
What about her?
Oh, fuck that.
Oh, see, my plan worked.
I was going to make a thing about that. What do you think that's a rip-off of?
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
Middle man.
So you know when you go into like HMV or CX or whatever, and they've got the latest release, like King Arthur, and then they have the knockoff next to it, right? A cheap knockoff, and it's normally like £7. I've bought some of those films, and
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
You know
Well-
they're going to be shit.
because they're cheap, right? And I'm like, oh, I'd add one to the collection. But I've bought one called Altered, and it's like this sci-fi alien horror film from the director of Blair Witch Project.
Right.
And I should have known it'd be crap because I don't really like Blair Witch Project. But I thought it was like a few quid, I'd buy it. And it's about this alien. These people find this alien, bring it to their shed, and then weird shit starts to happen. And I think the alien starts to possess people. But I turned it off. And I don't do that with any films really. But it was that bad. All it was these hillbillies in a fucking shed. Just every other word was a swear word. And I swear a lot. But I was just like, who's written this script? Like someone with fucking Tourette's. Like, all it was, hey, fucking man, here, fucking alien, you fucking cunt. Blah, 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 blah. I was just like, this is not a film. It was just dreadful, and I turned it off.
Fair
One of
enough.
the worst films I've ever seen.
Maybe it was
I
like
haven't seen it
maybe
all
it was
the way
like improv and they haven't even got a script, so they're just like
Yeah.
fuck, like that, like a South
It's just-
Park, just
yeah.
all the
But then it goes back to the point I just meant. Why would you buy it? Because if it's a rip-off film, because you know it's going to be shit.
Will that stop you from buying more rubbish films though?
No, because I have since. Like,
Have you watched Sharknado?
no, I
1, 2,
Guilty
3,
pleasure.
4,
I
or
haven't.
5.
They're bringing out a new one, aren't they, as well?
wouldn't mind watching it. Actually, I started watching Human Centipede 3, and I turned that off because that was really bad.
Oh, because 1 and 2
What,
weren't
in
bad.
terms of the graphic side of it, or the
The graphic
everything?
is
Oh, no,
people
the
attached by
the
mouth
acting
and
was really
butt.
bad.
Oh, okay.
Acting was terrible.
No, it was the acting that made him turn it
What?
off.
He could have known the acting was going to be bad from the first film and the second film. He didn't need to go and start watching the bird to know that the collective characters from 1 and 2.
You want
were
to see
their
how
own
the story ends?
Yeah.
What do you mean? The story ends after each one. The first one ends, and then the second one picks up that the guy's watching the first one and he wants to replicate it. And then the
Exactly.
third one is like scraps all of that, and then has them all in a prison as prison guards, and they want to recreate it.
So you've seen the third one?
I've started watching it, and then I realised, hold on, I'm not Glenn. I don't want to watch this.
Hey,
Glenn gets off on this kind of shit.
Yeah.
fuck that. No,
It was literally on Netflix for about. I think it was on Netflix.
It is on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
Yeah,
or it was.
It is. I was gonna go and watch it, and then I was like, no. Are you giving my Netflix a bad name?
Yeah, man. Is that continue watching?
Yeah, God.
If I want to watch something that I feel
Jesus
guilty
Christ.
about, I'll log into yours and I'll watch it on that.
Well, I wondered why it was all
Poor
going
man.
funny.
Yeah. So has anyone got any other really shit films like Captain America one aside? Or any other really shit?
Anything
no.
Marvel related? I'd say most sequels tend to be shit,
Okay.
but that's in comparison to the first ones.
So like Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
No,
Lord of the
listen.
Rings,
No, they
Fellowship
only
of
get
the Ring,
Listen.
better. They
Yeah.
only get
Hobbit,
better.
Decimation
they
of
don't-
Smaug.
Yeah, I agree
The,
with
the,
that.
the third one was.
Fuck you, Glenn.
The third one was the one that won all the Oscars.
I know, but I didn't like it that much.
Mm.
Well, I liked it.
Okay,
But-
we're going off point because
Anyway,
they're amazing
yeah.
films, best films ever made.
Okay, so when you said
shit
that
film,
sequels are bad, what are you thinking specifically?
Star Wars.
So as in
Second
you mean the
trilogy,
prequels,
but
the
I mean,
prequels.
if we're talking like directly a sequel directly off of the first one,
Well,
Probably-
Empire is regarded as the best film.
yeah. So I'm thinking of something that's not a not
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a,
yeah.
like a trilogy or
Yeah.
a saga or whatever.
Death Race.
Yeah.
again, that's one of those direct-to-DVD things, isn't it?
Yeah, Obi loves that film.
Oh, Death Race 1.
Death Race one's decent. Yeah,
Questionable.
it's not bad.
Um,
What about the Matrix films? So the second two, you know, I'm not
I
that
don't-
sure
I
now,
don't think I've
so-
watched
They're not. No, then they
I've watched
can't
them
really
too, man.
relate them to the first one because the first
Kick-Ass 2
first
was
one's
worse.
like a cult classic. This
Yeah.
is
Hangover
like,
1, 2, and 3.
well, this is the thing with Matrix. They could have ended on the first film and just left it
Yeah.
as that. But they
Same with
decided-
Hangover 1, 2, and 3.
Well, Hangover
Yes.
2 was alright. Hangover 3 was dreadful.
Same with Goal 1, 2, and 3.
I think we can go on for this for ages.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So I want to go
Goal
on
1
to
was by far the
shit-
best,
the
can I
shit
just
movie that-
reiterate?
a shit movie that I thought of. I don't know if any of you guys have seen is Cabin in the Woods,
Oh, yeah.
which
I've not
I
seen
I,
it.
I can tell. Is it supposed to be a horror?
Yeah, it's a
Or-
horror.
It's so
Parody.
stupid, especially
I
when...
like
It
it.
had
When
a really
Chris
good
Hemsworth-
premise to begin with, and then went so downhill
Yeah.
so fast.
Yeah.
I like it.
When Chris Hemsworth drives off the cliff and hits a barrier and dies, I'm like, what has just happened?
Fucking hell.
And then they go into this place where they've got all the demons and aliens and,
And it turns
obscure
out it's
things.
someone just with
Yeah.
a switch. He's like just. With
And then they
not,
mess,
like, fiddling
and then they mess it up,
like
and all
computers.
all the monsters get out, and then it's like the end of the world because
so
God's
bad.
getting released or something.
I don't mind Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, Glenn, behave! Come on, mate. You have better cinema taste than that, mate. Come on.
Ugh. Right, another bad film, Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
Is that the latest one?
Yeah, shit.
I feel
Yeah.
like we should get off the topic of bad films because
Anyone got any good films that they've seen recently? Good TV? Anything? Recommend?
I tell you what, I was quite drunk last night, and I came in and I watched New Girl again.
Decent.
Lame. Oh, mate. Single life is living it up.
Oh wow.
Oh, I need to get out.
you were right. You came home and watched it.
Did you watch it from the beginning?
No, I watched it from. I think the end of season 3 or the end of season 4. I think Coach was leaving, so I was like, "Yep."
Wow.
Hating on Coach. So I was over.
And you are watching Riverdale. Have you finished it yet?
Oh, yeah, I finished it the other day.
About time.
Yeah.
How does it end then? Because you said, when did you say that the penultimate episode kind of felt like an ending? You get
Yeah, I
out?
felt like it could have ended there.
What happens?
Yeah, it definitely could have done.
Spoiler alert. What
Yeah,
happens?
Spoilers, yeah. So,
Because I'm not going to watch it.
Jason Blossom was murdered by his dad. You find that out in the 12th episode. And then his dad kills himself, hangs himself. His name's... That's what was quite funny. His name's Clifford. And so the person who's narrating it, the episode, he was like, it truly was a cliffhanger. He hung himself. Oh man, I was cracking up. I'm not gonna lie, it's proper funny.
That's a joke.
But yeah,
Oh shit.
so yeah, he kills himself, and so like the fallout from that is pretty much that. So one of the main characters, Jughead, his dad is still in prison because he cleaned up the murder basically. So he's like, even though
He's an accomplice.
yeah, exactly, he's an accomplice, so he's still going down, and the police are trying to get him to like rat out some of his gang because like there's loads of drugs coming into the city, so he's trying to get him to like lessen the sentence by ratting out people, but he's like, I'm not going to do that. and they said he can go to jail for like 20 years or something like that. So whatever. So then Jughead has nowhere to live because obviously his dad's in prison. He can't stay around his friend's house anymore because of social services, blah blah blah. So they want to send him to a foster family and to a different school. So now he's getting all angry and being a loner and wanting to go off and ignore his friends, blah blah. All that crap's happening. While that's happening, Jason Blossom, who's dead, his twin sister, obviously now he's dead. Her dad's dead. Her mum hates her, so she tries to kill herself by like jumping into some ice thing, some ice lake, and they find her just as she's like basically falls into this ice river, and she's like probably drowning, I'm assuming. And Archie is like fucking pounding on this ice to try and get her out.
That was bare stupid. Like there was much better ways to do that, I feel.
Well, in what amount of time though?
Put the jacket around your hand and start smacking it instead of getting your hand or using your foot.
Finding a...
I suppose.
No, there was no way of finding a rock because they were like in the middle of the ice.
But if you use your foot, would your foot just go and you just fall through the whole thing yourself?
Someone's holding. There was like 4 of them holding him while he's doing it.
True. But yeah, he's literally pounding through this ice. His hands are bleeding and all sorts. Grabs her out the thing and yeah.
She comes to some realisation that life is worth living after this as well.
Wait, how did she get in the ice?
She was just in the middle of it, and I think she had a gun. No, she was just gonna jump in.
So she's
don't know where I got it come from.
so she's under the ice.
Yeah,
no, she was on the ice.
And she fell in, and then she fell through, and she went under the
why
ice.
Didn't you just follow her in? So where's she going?
But yeah, so yeah, she survives, and then she starts to burn her house down, which I thought was pretty funny as well, because her mum's going nuts, and it was
Jesus Christ.
Basically, their whole like.
Oh, he was selling drugs.
Drugs,
Sorry,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, you missed.
That.
So like they sell syrup, and it's like the town thing that they sell syrup. It's a family thing they sell syrup, but he's just selling drugs.
Yeah, he's actually selling drugs.
Yeah, that's why they're so rich.
That's what, and his son found out, and that's why he killed his son.
Yeah.
His son was going to tell him.
It was a bit questionable how they were making millions of syrup, really, wasn't it, in a small town? So
I mean, but yeah, so that was all happening.
It's like good syrup.
yeah,
So yeah, she tried to kill herself. What else happened?
the ending.
Oh yeah, so at the end. Everything seems kind of okay, fine.
This is when I said I feel like the cliffhanger should have come earlier, maybe.
And Archie is going to a restaurant to meet his dad, and he goes to wash his hands. And as he's going to wash his hands, someone like bursts into the store and like trying to like rob the place. And when Archie comes out, he sees the guy like trying to take money from out of the till, and his dad like kind of like stands up with his hands up, sort of thing. And then the guy with the gun is like kind of like. What the fuck are you doing, sort of thing. And then you hear a gunshot, and then Chris feels like it should have ended there just with the gunshot, because when you hear the gunshot it pans to the outside of the restaurant, so you don't see who's shot, but then they just show that Archie's dad's been shot. So
because Archie runs in.
Yeah.
It's not like Archie's in the background just staying there. He runs in, so you don't know.
Yeah.
And my thing, I was saying to Obi day before yesterday, I was saying I reckon it's going to be a twist that was all set up and it was meant to happen that way. Because I reckon it's Veronica's
Hiram
dad.
Lodge.
Yeah, Hiram Lodge. I reckon it's because I reckon he's found out that his wife was seeing Archie's dad. Yeah, you with me? And I think he's then set up because it seems like he's going to come back into the story. Like we haven't seen him, but it seems like he's in prison, and it looks like Veronica's testimony and the mum's testimony is going to get him out of prison. And obviously, with all this happening with the Blossoms, it's more likely he's going to come out of prison. I think he's found out about this relationship and that he's kind of set this up. I think that would be a weird twist, but
and also they wanted the lodges. They wanted to buy Archie's dad out of his business.
Oh yeah, and he said
would
no.
say no. So maybe they're trying to just
Isn't there something when you were trying to do that convoluted explanation a few episodes ago?
Don't tell me you remember.
Someone was in a jacuzzi or something.
Oh yeah.
But were they not like related to someone, or they were the?
No, so she.
Not really.
So
really
basically,
weird, like,
so some
some
blonde girl. I can't. No, one of the main characters. I can't remember her name. Betty.
Oh, really bad names.
Oh yeah.
Betty Swallows.
Basically, she was trying to drown this bloke because she wanted him to confess to doing something, and then she acted like her sister, or said she was her sister,
right.
and then her sister's like not even like that by the looks of it. She's just there trying to get by.
Okay, so it wasn't as weird as I thought.
No, well that scene was, and then they got called out on it in a few episodes ago, and it got a bit deep, and then
she's still like she's like suppressing her one of the main characters, Betty, she's like suppressing her anger.
Oh,
She's,
yeah,
like,
but
digging
nails.
her own nails into her hands, and it's fucking bugged.
Basically, she's a bit psycho.
Okay, no.
And Jughead's going to find that out probably at some point. And Jughead's gone to this other school now. Did you mention that? Yeah. So,
Alright.
and I think she's going to get upset by that because he's happy and everyone's looking out for him.
No one can be happy in these shows.
Well, whether this show carries on is another question.
How happy are people in American Gods, Joe?
Ooh.
Well, I've only watched the first episode of it, and it's a pretty weird one.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds
There's
like
a-
it's my sort of thing.
yeah, there's
I
a.
got to a point and then I was like, fuck it. So,
I'll get to that.
I
point.
Okay, yeah.
watched the first 10 minutes and I was like, I ain't
okay.
doing this.
yeah.
But basically, from what I can tell, the guy that you're following is a guy called Shadow Moon, and he's been put into prison for something. Do you find out
I don't
what
think
he's?
so.
You don't find out what he's been in prison for, but he's basically at the end of his sentence, and he's about to be released on a Friday. And then he starts to. He calls his wife and says he feels there's a storm coming, and blah blah blah. He doesn't feel very good. That night, he has basically a vision of his wife saying, "I love you, good night," all that bollocks. The next day, he wakes up, finds out his wife has died in a car crash, and he gets released from prison. Tries to get to the funeral when he's met by another character,
Mr. Wednesday.
Mr. Wednesday.
Wait,
Because-
sorry, is this still his dream?
No, this
No,
is
this
real
is
life.
real life.
This is real life now.
Real life.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. But yeah, Mr. Wednesday is called Mr. Wednesday because he met him on a Wednesday.
So if he'd met him on Thursday, it'd be Mr. Thursday.
You don't know.
Okay.
Isn't that like
That's
Reservoir
Ian,
Dogs?
that's
isn't
Ian McShane's character.
Yeah.
it? Mr. Pink.
So basically, Mr. Wednesday offers Shadow Moon a job, and Shadow Moon's a bit reluctant to take the job right at the start because he wants to go see his wife, well, the funeral anyway,
And this guy's a complete stranger.
and this guy's a complete stranger.
Wait, he's called him Mr. Wednesday because he met him that exact Wednesday, or he's met him
No.
previously?
No,
met him on-
Mr. Wednesday said, "I'm Mr. Wednesday."
He said, "What day is it?" He was like, "It's Wednesday." It's okay. So I'm Mr.
Call
Wednesday.
me Mr. Wednesday.
Right. So he's a man of mystery.
Right, okay.
Exactly. And it's a bit weird. Anyway, it ends up going to a bar scene where Mr. Wednesday is talking terms with Shadow Moon about the job and basically, come and work for me because it's the right time and the right thing for you to do. And then this Irish bloke comes up. I don't think you learn his name.
I'm not sure.
Mr.
I'm not
Wednesday
sure.
after.
I'm not sure if I've forgotten to this bit you're talking about yet.
Right, okay, so this is after that
This
bit.
after I checked out.
Yeah. But anyway, so this bit, this Irish dude that comes out says he's a leprechaun.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get to this bit. I definitely didn't.
And Shadow Moon's like, well, aren't leprechauns supposed to be like 2 foot tall and wear a green hat and like have a pot of gold somewhere? And he's like, no, that's just a stereotype, fuck you. And he's like doing magic tricks with coins and creating gold coins out of nothing. Ends in a bar fight. And then...
Oh, so this guy's making money.
Yeah,
And
literally,
somehow a fight ensues.
yeah.
That makes no sense.
None of this has made sense.
No, it's really weird.
quite
But
confusing.
basically, the fight broke out because the leprechaun was taking the piss out of Shadow Moon's wife dying. So Shadow Moon boxes him in the nose and then
See,
fight.
that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
You missed that bit.
I'm not very good at explaining stuff. Shut up. But yeah, basically, the next scene is Shadow Moon waking up in the car with Mr. Wednesday, and they're driving off into the distance, and that's where the episode ends.
Oh,
Basically,
that sounds kind of crap.
So I checked out. There was a point where
Really
quite
weird.
random. This man, this woman are meeting up. going
By
on-
the way, this scene is out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It literally pops out of nowhere.
So at the point I'm watching this, I'm thinking like, okay, it's okay. Like, I'm not particularly enthralled. And then this bit happens. So they're meeting each other to go on a date or whatever. And then they go.
They met online.
Yeah, they go to. Is it someone's at one of their houses or where?
I think her house.
I think her. So yeah, her house, and they start having sex, and like
Nice.
she basically like devours him
So-
with her vagina.
Hold on. So
It's like teeth.
so they're doing the business, and she's like, worship me,
Yeah.
shout my name.
Call me papi.
Yeah, basically all that stuff.
This
like,
is a
worship
storyline
me,
to
worship
Descent.
me, worship me, worship me. Call me your goddess. Worship
And he
me.
just
And
slowly
then,
like rolls into her
Yeah.
vagina. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm done.
So-
What?
it-
Actually,
Like literally, he goes
yeah,
and into the like literally like, into the like he sucks in like feet first. Like,
yeah. But
Literally.
it's not like that. So the shot is a top shot or an air shot, wherever it is.
Bird's eye.
And a bird's eye view of her on top. So she's like there, and then you can see him laying.
do you see him again?
Underneath.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I checked it. I've stopped watching after that.
Laying underneath,
Spitting
her.
back out later.
And you just see him
Run.
slowly getting further and further in, and you're like, "What's happening? What's happening? What's hap?" He's gone.
What's his reaction?
He was just like, oh. He didn't seem to care.
He was climaxing,
Yeah.
but at the same time going into her vagina.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Okay.
I thought she was getting like
That is
bigger
a
as
rotten
they
sentence
were
right there,
as he
Yeah.
was worshipping her, but
But-
then I realised he was just like you know,
Going
Oh
inside.
wow,
Yeah.
that is. I was not
But
expecting.
anyway, it's
he
a
entered
weird,
her DM, so to speak.
But anyway, it's a weird. It was a weird
Yeah, it's
episode.
weird.
Are you going to continue watching it?
I'm gonna watch the second. I'm gonna give it 3 episodes.
Mm.
Okay.
To be fair, it's
See
only
what
like
it's
eight.
saying.
It's only like 8 months. If you've watched 3 months,
Have you seen it, Chris?
Oh, is there only 8?
I think so.
No.
I started watching
Oh,
the first
okay.
10 minutes and I was like, this is too
Okay.
much.
Now,
yeah, because
you're gonna carry
Now
on
I'm gonna
watching
watch it. Now I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch
because
it.
the first 10 minutes was the Vikings or the
Yeah.
medieval
Yeah, but it was weird.
Yeah.
It sounds proper weird.
Sounds like your type of TV series, mate.
Don't know, mate.
Give it a go. See what you think. It's weird. It's weird.
Certainly not watching it
It is
with
weird.
other people. I'm just watching my own.
Yeah.
that makes
Oh.
it much more less weird.
Oh, actually, I was gonna say, I want to talk about Power a little bit because that's.
Oh, it's coming
season,
back,
season,
innit?
yeah, season 4 started. Oh, can I start now? Alright, so season 4 was last week. So what's? Oh, I don't want to spoil it for you though, Chris. Do I?
It's alright, go and say it, go on, it's alright. It's fine.
Are you sure?
I'm so far behind,
Close
it
your
doesn't
ears.
matter, go on.
Spoilers for
So-
Power.
Alright. So, Ghost has.
Who's Ghost?
Ghost is the main character, and he is basically like this guy who like does all like the drug. He's a drug dealer basically, but he's like the top of the. Well,
He's the kingpin.
yeah, but he is, but he's kind of not. Like, obviously, there's the people who supply him with the drugs are the kingpins. He's like kind of like the middle management.
He's
sort
trying
of
to
thing.
get there though, isn't he?
But not really.
No?
He's trying to get out of the drug business. Basically, he wants to be legit.
Okay.
But his partner and his wife want to keep doing it because obviously it's bringing in the money.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're the whole and so yeah, so that he spends pretty much the whole season trying to because he also has a nightclub, so that's one of the ways he cleans the money. So he basically wants to do that full time and stop being a drug dealer, but no one else really wants to let him. And he also meets his girlfriend from high school.
Oh, I thought it was in season 1.
Yeah, so I'm just going through.
Oh,
so
right,
we know,
okay,
so, we,
right.
so we have a little background because he asked who Ghost was. So I thought I might as well explain
Alright.
the whole thing. So yeah, he meets his girlfriend from high school called Angie, who we don't like, guys. We don't like her.
We don't like her.
Right.
Fuck Angie.
And he basically falls in love with her.
What's wrong
and
with Angie?
Has Chris. And he has an open your eyes, Chris. He has an affair with her, and not realizing that she is a district attorney.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's why we don't like her.
Yeah, and she's basically like looking for him.
Ah,
So, but she doesn't know that he's Ghost. She just knows him as Jamie.
right.
So yeah, so then that happens for like, and they're like kind of on again, off again, having sex, having more sex.
As you do.
Yeah, throughout the whole.
There is bare
throughout-
sex in this
bare
TV
sex.
series.
Literally, it's what. Oh, there wasn't any in the last episode I watched actually.
What about that his best mate and that ginger girl? You don't like her either?
Oh
do
yeah,
you?
she's a. I'm not gonna get into her because I can't bother with that. She's a
She's a nutter.
piece of work. But yeah, so that basically go through all the whole three. I'm just gonna gloss over the 3 seasons. That all happens. Like he's trying to kill his distributor. In the end, he manages to do that, but then he's got problems shifting all his drugs because he's got all so much, and he basically ends up getting framed for the murder of another district attorney who was also going out with his former girlfriend Angie or Angela. So after this is the point where she's now found out pretty much that he is a drug dealer. He's Ghost, so she knows who he is, and he's like still trying to like deny it sort of thing, even though like everyone knows that she knows sort of thing, but she can't prove anything without looking she's trying to frame him because everyone knows that she was having sex with him and stuff like that. So now she's not really sure how to handle the whole situation. So she ends up framing him not framing him. She thinks that he killed the agent who died. So he gets arrested. So now we get to the start of season 4. He's just been arrested, and like all the what's it called, the prison guards, I suppose, they're all like roughing him up and stuff like that. I'm not sure why they're roughing him up, but they are. And he's calling his lawyer, trying to get out of prison, stuff like that. And then so he's now effectively out of the as much as he can, but he's out of like the drug business. He's letting his best mate Tommy run the whole thing. So he's trying to get everyone on board with him being like the new like kingpin, because people don't respect him as much as they respect Ghost. So yeah, and it's all just going a bit off. The first episode was actually quite subdued, because at the end of the 3rd season, 50 Cent is in this, by the way. He partly produced it. So he's kidnapped Ghost's son and sent a picture to Ghost's wife saying like, give us money, otherwise we're going to kill him, sort of thing.
What bastard.
I know. So but then the end, literally at the start of the 4th season, he just kind of like lets him go.
Oh.
And yeah, he lets him go, and then he tells one of Ghost's associates, basically like, you're going to give me a cut of your drug money like every week, otherwise I'm going to kill you and kill your daughter, sort of thing. So he's like, okay, alright then.
Nice guy.
Yeah, that's good enough reason, so I'm going to do that. But yeah, so it started off really well. It's actually like quite a good series. I really enjoy it. I'm not sure if you guys.
I really enjoy it. The amount I've watched, it's just finding the time to watch it, isn't it?
But yeah, no, it's good. I've not done the best job of explaining it in the few minutes I've tried to.
Oh, you did alright.
Yeah, it's decent. It's really, I quite enjoy it.
Do they release all the episodes at once?
No, that's
No, it's
Oh,
weekly.
okay,
Yeah.
So first 3 seasons are up,
Yeah.
and the first episode of number 4.
Okay.
So you could binge a bit. There's 13 episodes in each?
I think it's 13.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
too
Netflix.
much to catch up on
Netflix
that.
tend to do 13, don't they? Which is actually reasonably good.
But Netflix don't make this; they
No,
just
yeah,
distribute
it's
it.
Stars. Yeah.
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 I watched Unbreakable the other day.
Yeah?
So this is the.
Is that my DVD?
Yeah.
Where is
That-
it?
It's at my house.
That's the World War II film.
No,
No.
it's
No?
not, Joseph.
It is it is the prequel to Split.
So
Oh,
it is
from-
the M. Night Shyamalan film. It is a quote-unquote
Right.
superhero film about David Dunn, who is Bruce Willis. He is basically a security guard at a university's football pitch, and he's involved in a train crash right at the beginning of the film, and he's the only survivor. Interspersed with this, you kind of get background on a guy called Mr. Glass, who's played by Samuel L. Jackson. He is he's born with a degenerative
Are you going to
bone
give spoilers
disease.
in this?
Yeah, he is. That's why.
So I'm going to watch it, mate, so...
Okay, I won't give spoilers then.
Well, you can if you want.
No, I won't. I'll let you watch it.
Wait, what? If you just get it off Glenn, and we could just talk about it next week.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
carry on.
And
I'll
you-
give an outline. I just won't
Yeah.
spoil it. But so you learn about Mr. Glass, who's got a degenerative bone disease, and basically, it's very easy for him to break his bones. And this is all on the back of the DVD. Science point anything. So if he falls over, he breaks a lot of his
Yeah,
body.
he was like born with all his bones
yeah.
broken.
And then basically, Mr. Glass is really into comic books, and he kind of thinks that if he is one end of the spectrum, there must be someone who's at the other end of the spectrum. So he's trying to find someone who is basically unbreakable, and then he reads about David Dunn in the paper, and then he contacts him, and he's kind of like, look, I think you might be, the yin to my yang sort of thing, and then that's basically the plot, and that's not giving anything away.
No,
Yeah.
come on, mate. You might as well spoil it. There's definitely
No,
more
no,
to
no.
that.
He's definitely done a good job there. He hasn't spoiled it at all.
I was disappointed.
Really?
by it. Yes.
I thought it was really good
I
for
feel,
for when it was made and for what it is. I think it's really good.
I feel like they stopped it when it was about to begin.
Okay, I can see that.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. This is gonna kick on, and something else is gonna happen, and it doesn't. And I
Yeah.
was like, what? So watch it, Ollie, within the next week or two, and then I can
Right
actually,
now.
I can actually talk about what it was that I was.
Do it. Just say it. Just
No,
say
no,
it
no.
right now.
No.
Say it. Say it.
What'd you give it out of 10? Because I thought it was fairly good.
6.5.
So just above average.
6.5.
So it's the same
I
as
thought Split was
All
better.
Eyes on Me.
Yeah, I thought Split was better.
I think
Split was much better, in my opinion. Anyway, you had news.
Yeah.
News,
Yeah, because
news.
you said the thing about Zack Snyder. So I haven't seen it, but I know he directed Watchmen.
Yeah.
And HBO are developing a Watchmen series.
Yep.
So I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Would you guys watch
That'll be
that?
sick.
Definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
do you know who
I talked about
do you know who
Watchmen,
it's
yeah,
based
a few weeks
about
ago,
in the
Really?
Watchmen?
This was Dr. Manhattan or something.
If it's based about him, then it'd
I
be quite good.
thought it was the invisible. I've forgotten his name.
Rorschach.
Raw.
Or the comedian. Or...
No, the guy that turns invisible.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Raw.
Rorschach's the guy with the mask on his face.
Mask,
Mask on, fucking
Who
mask
turns
on.
invisible?
No one turns invisible. What the fuck are you talking about?
Are you thinking of the League of Extraordinary
I
Gentlemen?
am, yeah. Shit.
No, if it's about Mr. Manhattan, it'd be quite interesting, I think.
I think about any of them, to be honest, don't you?
Yeah, well,
I mean, because
the other two, the love interest characters, they could probably,
Night Owl and
yeah.
yeah, but I mean, well, yeah,
I think Mr. Manhattan and how do you say his name?
Rorschach.
Yeah, I think he'd be. That's such a good name.
I don't know if I'm even saying that right.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russia extra.
I'll definitely watch that. You should watch the film. It's good.
Is it actually good?
Yeah,
I thought it was quite good.
but it's like it's this kind of superhero movie that I like because it's like it's quite dark and dingy and there's like loads of backstory as to what's actually happened and there's none of this bullshit where they're fighting these really strong villains and there's like an army that they're fighting. It's literally like they're kind of just fighting each other because there's like a bit of betrayal and if you want to see superheroes against superheroes but at a similar level, not like a super powerful enemy that's like, well, really Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Well, except for him, because he doesn't care about humans, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think
I'll definitely watch that.
Fair enough.
I should have probably done a segue earlier, but
Oh, missed it, mate.
I'm not the segue king.
No good at swearing.
But talking of news, we could say,
You can't just say that.
Okay.
No, talking about films.
But they've announced that they are actually doing Power Rangers 2 and they're going to do The Accountant 2.
I haven't
I've
seen
seen
the
the first
Accountant one.
account. Yeah.
Is the Accountant one any good?
It's
I thought it was
alright.
a really good film.
Okay.
I quite enjoyed it. There's a very good twist.
Ben Affleck, right?
He's not an accountant, he's a bookkeeper. And he hasn't done his exams yet to become an
You said you
accountant.
didn't watch it. Oh, sorry. But no,
No,
it's a decent film.
fairly good, yeah.
Alright.
I don't know.
I'm surprised they're doing a Power Rangers 2 though.
Oh,
Well, apparently, because it didn't actually, it made money.
well,
It
probably
just
about £4.
For more like
Oh, no,
15 million, but that's fairly good.
$4, mate.
Dollars.
Get the
It's even
currency
worse.
right. Come on.
God, this exchange rate.
But yeah, so there you go. What do you think of that? How about those
I'm
apples?
gonna go watch it.
I will probably watch it,
I
but
will
I will
probably
be
watch it
disappointed,
as well.
and
Yeah.
at least I can slag it
Same
off
with me.
afterwards.
Haters gonna hate.
But the
Haters
thing is,
will
you know what they're going to do. They're just going to bring in the
Green
Green
Ranger.
Ranger.
Yeah, it'd be Dino Thunder, fuck.
Yeah.
Don't know.
And then you're going to see Tommy again.
Hey, Dino Thunder was alright, man.
Mighty Morphin Gimps.
Wow,
Love
you hating? Did you see the thing that came out about
Got like a zip on there.
Yeah.
Did you see about the Iron Man 2 Spider-Man fan theory that Tom Holland confirmed
yeah.
was correct?
What's that?
So in Iron Man 2, there's a little kid who has an Iron Man mask on, and he goes like that to the bad guy, and then Iron Man
Yeah,
turns
yeah,
up
yeah.
and blows the bad guy away.
Yeah.
Tom Holland confirmed that is
Tom.
Peter Parker when he's little.
That's a good piece of retconning, like going back and being like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, how can we fit Peter Parker back into this narrative?
Yeah,
How little was
As
that
in-
kid?
He was
Right.
quite young.
yeah. And don't forget, Iron Man 2 is like 10 years before this recent film.
Yeah.
Or
Nice.
Well, that's the thing.
That's good.
So
That means
Spider-Man-
will the Avengers die then, or leave, or go
Hopefully.
away,
maybe.
like 10 years later? Because like Spider-Man's in Manhattan all by himself, obviously.
well, Spider-Man's like,
Because there's like there's no Iron Man.
Yeah.
Tony Stark would be
Of course
like 80 years old.
so you're trying to tell me that if Iron Man didn't turn up, Peter Parker would have messed that guy up.
Dead.
They would have messed him up, mate. He's so ingenious. But apparently, Spider-Man
It's biological, isn't it?
Spider-Man is meant to be the best of all of them. Like they're the one that he's like good. He's like what they would aspire to be if they were starting out, kind of thing.
As in which
His
kind of
morals.
What Spider-Man? As in the morals.
Yeah, like
Right.
like-
He's gonna be the focus.
I was
Yeah.
like, we're not shooting webs.
yeah. Apparently, they're going to try and change focus to him, aren't they? But that's whether his films are good or not.
Well, it's coming out next week.
Yeah.
And we did a poll on Twitter about, there's 4 big releases this month that I kind of chose.
Alright.
So Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
There's War for the Dawn of the Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
What? Excuse me?
War of the Planet.
Alright.
Of the Rise.
War of the Dawn of the Rise of the Planet of the Apes 2. And then Game of Thrones, and then there's the the Defiant Ones, which is the Dr. Dre documentary, which is coming out on HBO.
Oh, right.
So I chose that as the fourth one.
Wow,
so we
Mr.
put it out-
CEO.
we put it out- Oh, sorry, did you vote in it, Chris?
No, because you didn't tell me you put a poll up, mate.
Oh, because it was on Twitter. Anyway, so you voted in your...
Fuck you, Chris.
You voted in your
Put it
tens.
on Facebook.
You voted in your tens.
How many votes did it get in the end? Do you know?
16?
That's not too bad.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
that's
alright.
decent.
That's
That's the last one we had.
15 not including
See,
me.
if you
14 probably not including you.
if you put it on Facebook, you could have got a few more. God, just saying.
Oh yeah, well you voted in your tens and you have spoken, and I think everyone is most looking forward to Game of Thrones, but followed very closely by Dawn of the War of the
Apes.
what is
War.
it? Apes.
War of the Planet of the
War of
Apes.
the
War of the Planet of the Apes.
This is a simple
I
one.
don't know, but yeah. So what do you guys think? What are you looking forward to the most?
I don't know, because those four
Yeah,
are kind
same.
of like
Definitely Game of Thrones.
so random.
But they're different. But if obviously wasn't going to put like a lot of the same.
I thought you were gonna do like literally like what the film's coming out in the next 2 months. What are you most excited to see?
No, this is for July. Because I was thinking, oh look, yeah, cool,
July.
Spider-Man: Homecoming's
What?
coming out. But then I was like,
Oh, no.
actually, shit, Game of Thrones is coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely more looking forward to Game of Thrones. Why did you say Spider-Man?
Because I like Spider-Man.
But do you not
Yeah.
like Game of Thrones?
I do like Game of Thrones.
Oh snap!
But I like Spider-Man.
Do you not like Warring for the Dawning of the Rising of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, but
I feel that's going to get stale.
but Game of Thrones is
Well,
going
I
to go
think
on
it's
until
that.
like August, so like Spider-Man, I'm with Joe on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Game of Thrones is
What did you vote
the same
for?
as Game of Thrones has always
Game of
been.
Thrones as well.
And Ollie, what about you?
I'm kind of stuck between Spider-Man and Game of Thrones, to be honest. Because
You actually
I
looking
do
forward to a
love
Marvel
Spider-
film?
Nah, fuck that. I was just
Come
like
on,
Spider-Man.
everyone loves
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the one. He's the dude.
What's the Dr. Dre one?
It's like
That. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna be out there.
You're gonna be
defy all of you.
it's like a documentary about like his life. I guess it's called The Defiant Ones, and it's got interviews from like Eminem, Ice Cube. Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg,
man. I'm
like,
there. Watch that.
Yeah, proper up for that. I think it starts July 4th. Which
Oh, is this series?
yeah.
Independence Day.
Oh yeah. So I guess
Mind
by the time
blown.
this is out, it would be Independence Day. So happy Independence Day to all our American listeners,
Yeah,
of
well,
which there are
Howdy,
700. We do not endorse that accent
Low.
from Joe. So yeah, I think it starts. Well, that must be Tuesday then. I think Monday the 3rd. Yeah, Tuesday the 4th. So it's on HBO.
Good
or
maths,
I
mate.
assume Sky Atlantic or something. But yeah,
Oh.
and we'll talk about Spider-Man: Homecoming next week. I
When
assume.
we see it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Has anyone got any? Oh, has anyone got a from the archive? This
Hold
week?
on, mate. Got more news, mate.
Alright.
Can't
Chris
remember.
is up to date.
News
with the
o'clock.
news.
Yeah,
We,
'cause
this should be a segment.
he's on fucking
Fox
line.
set release dates for 6 new movies. What do you think of that?
Fox.
Which movies?
What?
Yeah, for what?
Like Alien, like
What?
superhero ones apparently.
Yeah, but what films?
Where are you gonna?
I don't know.
What's
They
superheroes?
just set
So they have
dates.
the X-Men ones, don't they?
You'll have
And
it.
Fantastic Four.
So it'd be Dark Phoenix. It'd be
Wait, so they set dates for films, but they haven't said what
Yeah,
films they're
apparently.
set dates for.
Yeah.
What kind of sort of nonsense is that?
Well, it's like Marvel. They set the dates for films in a timeline, and they don't say what the films are going to be. They say it's going to be released around this time in 2010.
Yeah, but don't they usually say what kind of
Yeah.
film it is? Fucking X-Men. It's going to be an X-Men film.
Yeah.
No, Marvel set out a timeline, and then they say these films are going to come out then.
I think they're gonna have to shop.
Yeah, but you're saying these films, but you're not saying what films these are. This is what I'm
What
saying.
do you mean? It's like superhero films.
Yeah, but
So
what films?
they're
That's
all
what
gonna
I'm
be-
saying.
They're all going to be superhero films.
So we're assuming they're gonna be.
I can't describe it any more than
Yeah.
that. That's all you've got. They're superhero films.
So
There's
is
six
there-
And that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm saying
superheroes,
it's
so they
silly for them
might-
to be like,
they
yeah,
might-
these films are we're bringing out films.
They might be total trash.
They're saying we're bringing out films.
You've crossed over two conversations.
Like every network's going to be doing this. They're going to be
still
like, yeah, we're
talking
bringing
about
out
Fox.
films.
You're talking about Marvel.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Fox has said they're bringing out 6 superhero films. They've released dates of 6 superhero films.
all in
So what
2018.
superhero film?
No,
This
just
one.
they're bringing. It's like a timeline, not until 2018. What do you on about? Marvel Cinematic Universe bring out dates for
Chris, I don't
films.
care about Marvel, Chris. I'm asking you about
The
this.
fuck? It's the same logic
I
though.
don't care.
It's
It's
the
not, but
same.
it's not logical. I'm not saying it is logical, Chris. I'm saying
Right, okay,
saying
yeah,
oh,
right.
we're bringing out films in 2018, 2019. Yeah, but what films? Don't know, mate. Just films,
I
innit?
just said superhero films. That's it.
Zack Snyder's like,
What the fuck?
bring out a couple of
I'm
films.
not saying you, Chris. I'm saying them.
So it would be Dark Phoenix.
Fuck, you know.
What else are they
Why
bringing out?
Fuck.
Because that's the next one, isn't it? That's the one after Apocalypse. They're bringing out.
Would they not do
Deadpool
Phoenix
2,
Oh, who's that for?
Fantastic Four,
Do you reckon are they
Are they
rebooting
doing
that?
Are they
Deadpool 3. Deadpool 3's in development. Deadpool 2's in production.
What about? Aren't they doing a Gambit one?
That's been put on the back
Force?
burner.
Yeah.
X-Force movie, which
Okay.
is like a,
Force.
which is like a spin-off of the X-Men movies.
New Mutants. Is that one?
Isn't that New Mutants and New Mutants 2 potentially, I guess.
Phoenix Force.
Don't know what that is.
This is silly.
What do you mean it's silly?
Why wouldn't you just say what films you're going to bring out? Or just give it,
I
give it,
think-
just
I
give it
think
it's-
inkling.
I
But
think
like-
studios have to kind of shotgun dates
Yeah.
because otherwise another studio would take.
But even
that.
just say, like, unnamed X-Men projects. No, okay. That'd be
Well,
shut
that
up.
is-
We're
I
bringing
mean,
out
yeah.
superhero films. But what?
Yeah, that
Could
makes
be
sense.
anything.
I mean, it is off moviewebs.com.
Could be
So
Teenage
like,
Mutant Ninja Turtles. for
So
all I know.
this could be utter
no,
bullshit.
no, the films are.
Right.
Yeah, they're in the works. Whether they get actually produced, it's like when you make a pilot of something, it won't necessarily get produced. So they're going to put the ideas of these 6 movies to people at the certain times, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, we want that. We'll action that, which most likely they will action all of them because they'll all make money.
Well, yeah, they got to have their tick list. What's the love romance story? Yeah, got
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. What's the conflict resolution?
Yeah. So has anyone got any films that they would talk about from the archive? Because I've got so many.
Did mine last week, mate.
I haven't done it for a while, so I can do mine.
Go for it.
So I watched Hellboy. I actually watched it just before the last podcast because you asked me about it. So it's yeah, I've seen Hellboy. It's following the story of
Spoilers.
yeah. Well, I'm going to spoil this if you haven't seen it. But I like the fantasy world that Hellboy's set in. I don't know what kind of world it is, but it's just out there.
His
It's
own
different. It's actually I think directed by the same guy who did Blade. So
Guillermo del Toro. He did
Yeah.
Blade 2.
Blade 2. Okay, so
Did you not do Blade 1?
Why not, Glenn?
Maybe he wasn't offered the job.
Fair
Joe.
enough. Anyway,
Think about that.
yeah. So I mean, Hellboy, you're following.
Hellboy.
Man.
Well, I mean, to begin with, you're following the Nazis, and they're trying to find this secret weapon.
Yeah.
I think, I guess, to win the war.
Yeah.
But that all gets blown out of proportion, and there's pretty much a portal to another world, and that's how Hellboy gets into Earth, I guess. And he's raised by a secret US agency pretty much to fight because they realise that monsters do exist, and he's raised like positively to fight these monsters because they feel that he's going to be like a shitstorm if he's against them sort of thing. But they're always trying to say that monsters don't exist, so there's always things going on around the world and they're like no, it's definitely not monsters, it's something else.
Just someone in a costume.
But it turns out that the guy who wanted to originally win the war with the Nazis is back from the dead, and he is trying to unleash this monster again. And it's pretty much, it's not really. I guess it's a race against time, but it's not really like so action packed that you're like, oh come on, they've got to get find the end and stop this portal.
Yeah.
Because he kind of gives in at the end, and he Hellboy. Like voluntarily opens a portal to this other dimension for the end of the world,
Yeah.
but because of his love interest, he's like, actually,
the
know
fire
what?
woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. So I enjoy it. It's good. There's a lot of red makeup. They literally,
Yeah.
it's just red
Did you prefer
painted.
1 or 2?
I like the second one. The second one got slated, and they
It
didn't
did.
make a third one because of
No.
it. I don't believe.
No, but they are now going to reboot it.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be
Neil
weird, though,
Marshall will
having
be
someone else.
50%.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Hellboy's being remade. It's going to come out in a couple of years.
So, like, from 1 again, or continuation
They're just
reboot?
rebooting it, yeah. So, it'll be,
yeah, from
but
one.
they're going to make it R-rated. So
One
it's
thing
gonna
that
be
I
at least a 15, supposedly.
One thing that I don't want them to do with that is like have loads of CGI, because
Yeah.
like the fact that he's got this like
that stone,
massive fist, a
yeah.
stone hand, is the fact that it's actually like really made.
Yeah.
That's what I love about old school movies. Is like all the Star Wars, it was like actually made these costumes of aliens.
Yeah.
And like when we were talking about the Alien Covenant, because it was just CGI. CGI, it just looked fake and shit and not scary at all.
I just don't get why they don't. Like, they have loads of money. Can they not make a really eye-catching costume? Like, they do it in plenty of superhero films.
I don't know why they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's money, but I thought they'd spend more money.
Does it not take a lot longer time to...
I thought it would doing CGI. And it's so hard to get the actual feeling of, like, if you're acting with something CGI, obviously it's not there.
Yeah.
So you don't kind of get the real like
the real
immersification of like the actors.
Yeah.
I guess the point is though, is if you've got to, like Dave Bautista for Drax, he spends like hours in makeup.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So that's like essentially 6 hours of his time that they probably have to pay him more for.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if they say actually you can come in for 2 days,
Whereas
in a green suit.
for what
just
they
wear
did,
little
for what
bobbles
they did
on
with
you.
Groot.
Yeah.
CGI with Vin Diesel saying.
and then you
Groot.
can just pay some, pay pittance for people to CGI.
It's even like that. Character who played Psylocke in Apocalypse. She apparently took her ages to get into that little suit because it was so like tight on her and stuff, and they tried to make it really authentic, like the TV series or what the
you can
comics.
appreciate things.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, yeah, I know they want to reel off films as fast as they can, but there's a point at
That
which
extra
you need to get that thing.
Authenticity.
And people want to watch it, won't they? Otherwise, you're just gonna.
Yeah,
Well,
because if you go to like if there is a huge like Comic-Con for anything Marvel, I guess. You go there and there's nothing around.
Yeah.
You're just going to be
Everyone's
like in an
wearing
empty
green
room.
morph suits.
Yeah.
It'd be so fucking boring,
Yeah.
man. You want to like buy all the comics and the figures and the
exactly.
costumes and.
What do you feel
That
about
sort
them
of stuff.
rebooting it then? Do you I feel bad for Guillermo del Toro because he really wanted to make a third one, and
Yeah.
then they said no, and then like not long later they're like, oh, we're rebooting it.
So what? Z directed and play the actor? Is this
No, but he was director.
Who's-
Ron Perlman.
Oh, that's it, Ron Perlman.
I'd imagine the reason they're making they're rebooting it is because the first two have sort of probably gained that cult status film.
Yeah,
Where
to follow it
everyone
on.
really likes it.
Who's taking it on, by the way?
But
Neil Marshall, I think.
No, is it Marvel?
no,
Oh no,
it's his
just
own
the same
thing.
Yeah.
It's not
I
DC or Marvel. It's
don't-
his
No,
own.
I don't think so.
No, it's just like the same director as Blade, even though Blade was Marvel, but it's just like.
Yeah.
Same fantasy
I'll
world.
say nothing.
Do you think it is part of one of them?
I thought it was, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong several times in this podcast, so.
Maybe. Who knows?
But I like, it's just a totally different. So there's no superhero. Well, I guess.
It's a bit more like it's not
it's
anti-hero,
monsters.
but he is an anti-hero because he's just like smoking
the
his
devil.
he's smoking his cigar. He's just like whatever, like with his guns, and he's like, "Whoa."
It's just a badass.
Yeah.
He's what we depict as a devil though, with horns,
Yeah,
tail,
exactly.
red.
But
Sideburns.
the publisher is
Yeah.
Dark Horse Comics.
Oh, Dark Horse, yeah.
Oh, do they do anything else that we know?
Fuck knows.
I think they probably do.
Fuck knows. That is the answer of all answers, to be honest.
Oh, I just thought of another bad film, Cop Out.
Cop Out. What's that then? Is
Oh,
that,
God knows.
That's is that Kevin Smith?
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
Tusk.
Tusk is a bad film. That's a really bad film.
I
But I can remember that.
I started watching Yoga Hoses as well.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh my god. It
You
was
poor human.
dreadful.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I turned it off after about 5 minutes.
If he's trying to promote his daughter in actress, he's doing a bad job.
Yeah, it was real shit.
Yeah. And Johnny Depp's daughter as well.
You
She's
should just bring back Jane Silent Bob.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
what we need.
Yes. Apparently no though, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But-
Has anyone got anything else to mention before we wrap up for today?
I feel like I have a question.
Oh,
To
have
ask
you got
you
a
guys.
question? Have you
I
asked
feel
it
like
before?
I asked you in the WhatsApp group and you confirmed that I had not asked this question.
Okay.
So I will cut this if I have asked this already. If you could replace any actor in a series with another, who would you choose?
You said that so quietly. If we could replace an actor in a TV
Someone who
series
doesn't
with
belong.
another actor,
Yeah.
because we feel that they'd be doing it better, or
Yeah, why not? Up to you, mate.
I want to jump in.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I'm not going to do it for TV series just because I don't watch a lot of TV
Oh,
series.
yeah, go on,
I
movie.
think Martin Freeman is not the right person to play Bilbo Baggins for The Hobbit.
Who
Who would you
play
have?
Bilbo Baggins?
I don't know, but I for some reason, I just don't think he did.
Didn't do
I'm
it
not
justice.
dissing him, but I just didn't feel
The
it.
picture of Bilbo you had in your head wasn't him, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he like had this kind of like quirky behaviour that I think it is common with a Martin Freeman performance, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's like a Bilbo Baggins performance.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump out of that because I'm
Yeah,
not a
no.
TV series kind of guy.
Make a TV or movie. We'll make it
I
TV
can't
or
even
movie.
think of any TV
and
series.
people would disagree with that because they love Martin Freeman. Sorry, guys.
That's right, mate. My choice would be I would replace the guy who played Danny Rand in Iron Fist. I'd replace him with the guy who played Davos in Iron Fist because I felt like he would have been able to pull off the role a bit better.
Okay.
Because I thought that I think his what's the guy's name again? Who plays Loris Tyrell? What's his name? I don't know. Danny Rand. Danny's name is Danny Rand. I can't remember his name. Finn Jones.
Finn Jones, that's it.
So yeah, so
nice.
Where'd you
I think-
pull that from?
I don't know.
Yeah, mate.
I think his portrayal of Danny Rand is one of the things that let Iron Fist down the most. So I think if they'd gone someone who maybe could have pulled off that role a bit better, maybe someone who could do their own stunts or similar to their own stunts,
Yeah.
it would have been a bit of
Yes,
a
if
better
he could do
series.
its own stunts, that would be so much better actually.
Or like good, just like good stunts.
That's absolutely no, isn't it? Defenders.
Is it?
I think so.
But yeah, that's more.
Cool.
Well
I wouldn't necessarily replace the actors, but I'd probably replace the characters. So in Luke Cage, Cottonmouth is by far the best baddie.
Sorry.
Oh, well, that's an audible spud. And then the guy who plays Diamondback,
Awful.
that was just such a bad character.
Really bad.
It's
Yeah.
like just relegate Diamondback, kill him off early, or make Cottonmouth turn into Diamondback or something. Because Cottonmouth was decent. Mahershala Ali on point.
Wanted to do some movies, mate. So
He's going to be in True Detective, I think, the next season of True
There's
Detective.
another one.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I've seen any of the previous seasons.
I probably would have replaced David Schwimmer as Robert Kardashian in American Crime Story because I feel like the fact that he was David Schwimmer detracted from the fact that I believed he was Robert Kardashian.
That's a fair point. Would you anyone in mind? Or?
There's just someone a bit more unknown.
Okay.
I know obviously they had John Travolta in it, but you know he's kind of not been around for ages. I guess maybe David Schwimmer hasn't either. But David Schwimmer's acting style is kind of just the same like this. You know, his voice is really kind of actually pains me to listen
monotone.
to. Yeah. So it's just someone
How dare you disrespect David Schwimmer?
someone a bit more charismatic, maybe.
How dare you disrespect Ross?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Bruce Jenner would have been a good fit.
Would have been maybe. Right.
I don't know.
You're just stirring the pot there.
Your turn, Joe.
I have no one.
You have no one.
You have
No,
no. You think every film
Everyone
is
is cast
perfect, just
perfect.
how they
Well,
are.
I'm trying to think of examples in my head, and I'm looking
It's
at.
kind of a difficult one, isn't it?
What
Off the top of my
about
head.
what about the guy who plays the new 24 Legacy? Is that good casting?
I've never
Yeah,
watched
it's
24.
fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, personally, I would have replaced him with Jack Bauer and had Jack Bauer continue, but that wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
so.
What would you do?
I don't know. I never thought. I didn't think of the
You
question.
didn't think
myself.
so?
I just
just asked the question.
Yeah.
He doesn't answer them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just pose him.
I don't know. Maybe Terminator Genesis, not have that guy as.
What is John Connor?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To
Get
actually-
the original kid who was playing John Connor to be John Connor, probably.
Well, they've changed John Connor. Every time John Connor's appeared, they've changed him.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
Hate that.
Just keep
Hate
it.
that in
Just
movies
keep it
when
as
it's
one
like-
character.
Oh, Iron Man 2. I'd have had the bloke who was playing War Machine in Iron Man
Terrence
1.
Howard,
Yeah, in Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Fair enough. Oh, Joe's got one.
Not that actor. I
Oh,
would have
yeah.
changed the bad guy in Iron Man 2.
From Whiplash
Yeah.
to who?
Someone else.
Whiplash
A&R.
was, Whiplash was such a terrible villain.
Is that like a real villain in the comics, or did
I'd
they just
assume- I'd
literally just
assume
make
so.
it up?
I would
God
assume
knows,
so.
mate.
They were because there's a film called Whiplash now, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that drama. Yeah. That's not Mickey Rourke with fucking electrified whips. No, that's a little bit different.
Getting the symbols with his whip.
Yeah.
I've got a. So I was listening to Three Shots of Tequila the other day, and they
Stop promoting them, man! Oh my god, why is he
They always-
podcast?
They're always talking about. They're always talking like whilst they're drinking their 3 shots of tequila, they're like, "Oh yeah, have you heard that new episode from Your Average Critics? It's sick." So
They,
much better podcast than me.
Codboss.
Yeah.
Cod mash.
But they do this thing like that dilemma section thing. So one I want to, then they presented one, and I was like, I'm not really sure what I'll do, so I'll ask you. So let's say you're coming out of, I don't know, the gym or whatever, and you walk around,
I don't go to the gym.
and you walk around the corner, and you see a woman being assaulted by a man. What'd you do?
Shout fire. Because everyone comes running to a fire. to see
Or
it.
they come running to a fight.
They come.
Is
Everyone.
that's
No,
the thing?
people come and run and see. People come and would like to come and like if you shout fire, you'd be like, oh, there's a fire. Let's have a look, kind of thing.
So you just stand there shouting fire.
No, well, it depends how big he is. Like if I can't take him on, then there's no.
I'll
hope,
probably
is it?
ring the police.
I'll probably try and
Yeah,
grab
but
But by
something.
the time the police come,
Try and grab
No, but
something.
I'd be like, hey.
Oh, this is like superhero shit. Like, if you step up, like, straight away and you charge at that guy, you're Jennifer Lawrence in Hunger Games.
I'd either probably.
You're fucking... I nominate myself! You guys.
I'd either shout
None of
fire
you said
or
that.
I'd
just whip
probably
out
do
a
both.
bow
I'd
and
probably
just-
shout fire and I'd probably grab something and try and like chuck it at him to get him
Well,
away.
but sometimes even just saying like "oi" can like distract them and get them to.
Yeah.
So you say oi and you don't give a shit.
Well then, if I can get behind him, then I'll try and rugby tackle him, but probably won't work.
Does he
being
have a
me.
weapon?
You don't know.
There's loads of things, though, that you take, like, is it daytime? Is it nighttime?
Nighttime.
Is it somewhere that you know,
Nighttime,
somewhere that you don't know?
But if you just out
Is
the
it-
gym,
is
you're
it-
pumped. You're like,
Yeah, but
Or
yeah,
it's just
you're-
been leg day and you can barely walk. Hey!
Or it's been arms day and I can barely move my arms. Like I'm like a squid in here. Like, I'm gonna come and get you.
oh my god, I'd love to see you as a squid.
That's what I'm saying. What would you do?
Well, that's
What
it.
would you
That's
do?
what-
What would I do?
Yeah.
What would
Run.
you?
He's run away.
Like, you know that the vine of Peter Griffin going into the bush. Oh, Simon Simpson, yeah, sorry, not Peter Griffin. No, I'm joking. I don't know. Honestly, I'm
It's not a
not.
hard one, is it? Unless
It's
you're
one of the
there.
ones where you don't know what you would do until you're in the situation.
Yeah.
So on the thing, one of them was saying they would try and run into the nearest shop and like say call the police, blah 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 blah, and then run out and try and help the girl. But they were saying that imagine you like rugby tackled the guy or whatever, and you're fighting him, and the guy just runs off you. You're like, well, what? You're just leaving me here. It's like
That would 100% happen.
the thing. He was like, if I'm fighting, we've all got to fight. We've got to sit in the evidence and talk about what went down. And we have to go over our plans to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Would you record it so that there's video evidence of what's happening?
I mean, in hindsight, you probably wouldn't think of that as
no,
it's
you
happening, would you?
Well, now I will, because I've thought about it now.
Yeah, everyone's a paparazzi now. Cameras everywhere.
Pressing 999 on my phone, getting the camera out, running into the battle, and losing probably.
yeah,
Selfie.
ponderous thoughts.
What if they're just hooking up?
The
That'd
thing-
be well
Oh,
awkward.
look, yeah.
Oh, no.
And then just playing that scenario.
What if he just gets absorbed up into a vagina and he just disappears and you're like, oh shit.
Like, I've seen this before. But I'd like to think that I would try to intervene. But
Yeah.
What if
I don't- I
she's
wouldn't
really
know.
attacking him?
Ooh. Fucking curveball.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, no, do you know what? Man,
So now you're gonna like observe for a little bit, see who's
I
fighting.
fully realised that I'm misogynist because there were two scenes in the we didn't talk about the house, but it's
Yeah.
not the story we're talking about. But there were two scenes in the
It was
house where,
decent.
where Will Ferrell pushed over this girl and I was burst out laughing.
He was drunk. He was drunk, and he come in, and they tried to sneak. They tried to sneak out, and they just snuck in. And then they saw the two girls. The mum and dad. Like, mum and dad saw these two girls, and all four of them were screaming because they were like trying to sneak out. And this other girl just appears out of nowhere, and he's like, ah! And he just pushes her.
And then, like near the end of the film, they're with their daughter in like a bedroom, and and the bad guy comes in. And he's like, "Is this your daughter?" He's like, "No, that's not daughter. Who's this? We don't know this girl." And then her friend walks in, the same guy who pushed her around. It's like, "That's our daughter." That's our daughter. And then she was like, "I'm not your daughter. What are you talking about?" And he's just like, "Shut up!" And he pushes her down again.
We've got to talk about that film
man.
next week.
It was a pretty graphic
I think
film, to be
we-
fair. Yeah.
That's it.
It was graphic. It was graphic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as a podcast, we don't endorse misogyny, but individually, Obi does.
I'm
So-
I'm a slapstick guy. You know, like,
You're
do you know what I mean?
slapstick.
I'm a slapstick
but
guy.
Only when it's against females.
Yeah. I mean, when you, I've seen.
To be fair,
in my 24 years of laughter, I've seen a lot of stuff.
If Obi had seen,
No.
if Obi saw someone push me over, he'd probably laugh just as
Oh
hard.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
so-
Alright.
But like,
I mean, it's.
I think because it's Will Ferrell. I think because like he's just such a like lanky like, just like a bit of a
he's not a giant, isn't
yeah.
it?
He's just like
He's an
Is it because you didn't expect it?
yeah, 100%.
No.
I didn't even expect it a second time.
No,
either,
like,
so-
same thing with when he did it in Mindhorn as well. I didn't see it coming. That's why it made me laugh. But even if it was I think it's just because like I expect men to hit men, but I don't expect men to hit women, so I find it kind of funny. And if a man just hit a child, like when people push children up, I find that hilarious. I'm not even
That
gonna lie.
happens in the campaign,
Yeah.
doesn't it? With Zach Galifianakis and he like
And he
hits a
punches
baby
the
and he's
baby.
like, oh
Yeah.
my campaign
Exactly.
nightmare.
It's funny, man.
Oh, and you know, last week you were talking about the part in Fist Fight where the girl's like, I don't fuck with
Yeah, I
you.
said that, yeah.
I watched that bit, it was so funny.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the rest of the film, but that bit was hilarious.
When
Okay.
she drops the mic at the end. She's like,
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'd love my daughter to do that. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to episode 20 now. Got any thoughts for worst films? Please do send those in. And also, Chris, what was your question about actors you'd want to replace?
yeah.
Yeah,
TV
so
or
Exactly
anything.
that.
tweet your ideas in. We're at Twitter, YC Podcast 17. We're on Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, and SoundCloud. I can't even think. Under Your Average Critics. So tune in next week. We'll talk about The House. We'll talk about Spider-Man: Homecoming and anything else that's released. Tune in next week.
Peace.
In a bit.
Hello.